Krug Show back with you on a Wednesday night. Dieter's with us on a Wednesday night. We were doing Thursdays. We were moving to Mondays. I had a busy Monday. I was at the Giants game Monday. Now we decided to go to Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, I'm down in Santa Clara for 49er rookie minicamp interviews. Friday,
Yes,
they hit the field. Saturday, they're also on the field. I don't think we're going to be there.
We're not allowed. We're not allowed to be there. I'm going to bring a drone.
Matthew says, Larry, late like always. Yes, I am late. Yes, I am late. But
you should have heard the intel that we were sharing before the show that you will never get. You'll never hear it.
Juicy. Running on a Wednesday night. Happy May 6th, everybody. Welcome to the Krug Show, brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Is Pig and a Pickle. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. Soon to open in Petaluma. Check them out. Damon and Mary, get some brisket chili. Tell them the Krug sent you. What a spot. What a spot. We were just there the other day. Went to lunch there. And the person I went to lunch with had the Reuben and said, oh my God, try this Reuben. And it was unbelievable. And I don't even like corned beef. And it was just absolutely fantastic. So check out Pig and a Pickle and look for their new location. We'll tell you when the grand opening is. We'll do a live show from there when it's up and running and it's getting closer. I met with Damon the other day, not Damon Bruce, but Damon, the owner of Pig and a Pickle. And he is expanding and they're just finalizing the final details. And the third location should be up and running shortly.
Giddy up.
So, yes, really fired up about that. We're really proud of our association with Pig and a Pickle. Now, the Krug Show is also presented by Prize Picks, America's #1 sports picks app. Will do a lineup tonight. Prize Picks is super simple. You just pick more or less on player stats or game outcomes. You build your lineup. It's available in most states, including California. So if you haven't checked it out yet, use code HMA. And when you play $5, you're going to get $50 in lineups. And it's going to happen like instantly, like boom, like that. Like quick, it's going to happen.
You're telling me.
And since we're glad he's back, give it up for Beaver. And of course,
my hair up and everything. For
look
this.
at you. You got the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Mike flag. You got the California governor debate. If I seem a little tense, it's like I watched the California governor debate, and that I'm literally I'm having like heart palpitations thinking about how much I'm paying for gas and how long I afford to live in California before I have to leave. And, you know, it's hard to cover the Niners who are in Santa Clara if you don't live in fucking California.
And yet there are some who do, Lair. There are some that do.
Yes.
We will not name names.
How about this? Cover the Niners. I've got the perfect spot. The Big Island, the Big Island, maybe take Penny for runs on the beach,
sounds pretty good.
Just, have a pina colada or Mai Tai or whatever the heck they're drinking in Hawaii and just sit back and enjoy the waves and and then behind me, like a video screen of camp where it just shows images of camp.
You want the Shanahan video feeds directly to the Big Island?
Worse than that, I want to feel the reality of covering the Niners. I want to see Dieter in line for the driest chicken fingers in the history of the league served at halftem. Everybody consumes
my wife
these in like a
currently
9
working
minute
on a
span.
technology that can make that happen for you. She is. Let me just say that the rig at the Kurtenbach household for video conferencing is about to get infinitely better. So I don't know if that's going to work on StreamYard, but it's you're not far away, Lair. You just got to hang on to this BS for just a little while longer, and then you can go to the Big Island because space and time will have no meaning.
Seriously, welcome. Mahalo and every show with mahalo. And all I really know is because I was in Hawaii like a couple times. Mahalo usually means like a way overpriced drink at the pool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, if you want to pay like $11 for a lemonade at like a resort in Maui or something, you'll get a mahalo. You're getting a mahalo. Here's your drink, mahalo. Mahalo, and you can't fight it. You got to go. Hawaii goes on its own pace, but that
obviously rookie minicamp is really engaging us mentally here, Lair. We are just chomping at the bit to talk about this football team here on May 6th.
Well, you know what? Matthew says, Larry, late like always. Okay,
Yeah, we
I
are hit that.
apologize. I apologize.
We're just looping back through. It's going great.
Apologize. But we are
Larry's mentally on the Big Island right now.
Right, exactly. I'm all over the place tonight. But tomorrow I'll be in Santa Clara, and it's rookie mini camp kind of presser day. And then the next day we get to see the players actually on the field.
Yep.
It's funny. Some people will get more out of tomorrow, and some people will get more out of Friday. I'm definitely a Friday guy because I like to let my eyes tell me what I see. But you know what? We're going to get a chance to talk to Raheem Morris.
That's big
tomorrow, and I think that's big. So that's a big one.
Yeah.
And why don't we start right there? Before we're going to get into the Raheem Morris and what you would ask Raheem Morris, and that is kind of the wild card topic tonight. But we wanted to start, and we entitled the stream what we did because we want to get into the biggest concerns coming out of the draft. You have the draft, everybody loves it or hates it or whatever, and then
who loved it?
Well, I mean, the Niners draft, you mean?
Yeah, I didn't hear. I heard.
I'm glad you asked. That is fantastic that you asked. Like, you're setting me up perfectly.
Thank you.
I actually looked this up. I did a full, since I do Niners nightly, I decided to look it up and figure out what was the consensus on the 49er drafts. Here it is
again.
Justin Mello from SI, who's a pretty sharp guy. I like him. He ranked the Niners draft class 30th out of 32 teams. Okay. And I do believe in Justin Mello. He's a very intelligent guy. NFL.com, maybe I'd like to take their class because they gave him an A minus.
I'm sorry, what?
A minus. NFL.com.
Did they stop after round 2?
PFF gave him a D, as in dog.
Yeah.
All right. As in someday Penny and I will run on the beach in Hawaii together.
As in divested from the company.
It's going to be like Rocky and Apollo Creed, me and Penny running down the beach in Hawaii.
I know how that one ends, so let's be careful.
Yes, that's right. I'm embracing my golden retriever. ESPN gave him a C.
Yeah.
Bleacher Report a C minus. Fox Sports gave him a B. The AP gave them a B. The Athletic post NFL draft power rankings had the Niners 4th. ESPN behind Seattle, New England.
Yeah, but to be fair on that one, going into the draft, I said they didn't actually need the draft to do anything. All it could do is help them because they didn't need, outside of maybe a third wide receiver and a pass rushing defensive end, they didn't really need anything. Everything else was sort of surplus to needs. So I don't know if we can read too far into the power rankings thing, but it's an interesting data point.
And ESPN ranked him, as I said, 8th in their power rankings post-draft.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So, Dieter, I mean, why don't we start right there? I mean, first of all, we never really actually did this. Give me a concise, short grade. I mean, grades are rough, right?
Sure.
But give me either a theme, a consensus. Give me some breakdown on the Niner draft, either good, bad. Are you here to rip it? Are you here to praise it? Are you here to wonder about it? Give me a take.
If you had a stockbroker and you said, I'd like to buy these stocks and I would like to sell them at a profit, you would set price targets. It's the official term. It's a price target. So you're looking to buy at a certain level that's low and sell at a certain level that's high. The 49ers would be terrible stockbrokers because I do think that they do a decent enough job in figuring out which stocks to buy. That's half of the ball game. The other half of the ball game is setting the price targets, low and high. And this team has shown consistently that they read too far into their own evaluations, as if you should be reading into anybody else's, but like they get a little high on their own supply, a little bit like, oh, we see it, but no one else really sees it. They, I think, get faulty information from the outside when it comes to gaming the draft and where guys are going to be taken. And more than anything else, they just get spooked easily. They get easily scared and they lock in on a player at a spot. And even if they then try to manipulate it a little bit to squeeze a little bit of juice out, They never do it to its full extent. They never really push the limit because that would risk the possibility of them not getting the singular player that they want at that singular spot, which is bad practice. You should have 3 or 4 options and see where the board falls to you, unless you're trading up, in which case you're going to get somebody. But you should see where the board falls to you. So I think that they do a decent enough job in targeting the players. I like their first 3 picks. I like them a lot. I don't like the price that they had. And honestly, I'm okay with the first 2. I don't think Stribling was getting out of the top 40. I think Romello Height at 70 is good value. And I think Black is a really good running back who's going to provide immediate positive value to this team, but they probably picked him a day early. A legit, like, not just like day 2, day 3, like a legitimate day, 24 hours too early. I don't think he was going to be the 3rd, 4th, or 5th running back off the board, even if he did have a lot of people around the league who were like, yeah, we like him. That doesn't mean that he was going to go where the Niners did, but they just go, let's not get cute with this. And ironically, then they become cute with it. So I think that they do a good job of identifying the stocks in most cases. Day 3, you can't really hold too much against them, but they definitely are bad at setting the price points, and that's how you make the money. Yeah, you have to identify the good stock, but you got to sell it at the right number and buy it at the right number, and that's what the Niners consistently fail to do, at least in my viewpoint. So that's my frustration. I think they're okay at drafting, but they're really bad at drafting, if that makes any sense.
No, I mean, first of all, we're glad that we have you here, and I think that your take's spot on. I really do. That, in a nutshell, is kind of the issue. It's not, but to me, I'm more of a bottom line guy. And my bottom line, because I've seen the failure rate of the draft, and I know how everybody knows me. I get super excited about 7th rounders and undrafted guys and this.
You? Really?
Oh, totally. And I put a lot of stock in the draft, and I believe that you can build through the draft if you're really good at it.
You should.
But I also believe that most of the guys are going to fail. And it's you got to be able to find able to find the guy, not just the guy in the first round that's going to be good, but the guy who in the second round that's going to be good, and the guy in the third round. And there's an awesome draft out there. There's a 74 Steelers draft out there to be had every year, where you're getting multiple Hall of Famers and you're building the core of a dynasty. It's all out there.
It might not have been in 26, to be fair. This was, I already have my 500 person big board for 27, and let me tell you, there might be 100 players that I would take over like damn near anyone this year. It is unbelievable.
But I mean, that lends itself right into what I'm saying, because what I'm saying is, what's the bottom fucking line? What is the bottom line?
Did you get the dudes?
The bottom line is, in a down year for the draft, that everybody thought. I mean, I personally saw great value in the defensive line late in undrafted. I said it before the draft, and they got
that was a fairly robust position. Yeah, imagine the robustness of that position at literally every position next year.
Yeah,
it's wild.
We'll see. I mean, we'll see. I believe you. I believe you. I mean, I've heard other people say it as well. We definitely see that depth at the quarterback market. And we'll see. I did a mock draft the other day, actually, just to see what was the best I could do, without really knowing that much about the players, because I haven't really done any research on the players. Luckily,
Larry, as it stands right now, I have 50 first-round graded talents.
Wow,
50.
That's a lot.
And that includes the 11th ranked edge rusher is a first-round rated talent for me.
Wow.
For whatever that's worth.
Well, that's exciting.
Kenyatta Jackson.
So, but I mean, what is the bottom line on the draft? The bottom line is, nobody sits there and says, man, that was a great pass by Brock Purdy in the fourth quarter of that playoff game for Mr. Irrelevant. It doesn't matter anymore.
No.
It doesn't matter. None of it matters. It only matters on draft day, and it only matters to the guys whose job it is. And even it doesn't really matter to them, because ultimately nobody cares about where you're drafted. All that matters is, are you a player or not? And so, with that as the backdrop, I told Alex Boone and Grant Cohn when we did that stream, we graded it out. Grant asked the question, we grade. I gave it a B. And here's why. Because in a down year for the draft, that everybody says it was a really down year,
Yeah.
The 49ers going into the draft day, first round, had what the league would rate as the 24th most draft capital. So they didn't have a lot of picks.
Right.
So you also have to take Osa Odigizua, who was literally traded weeks before the draft for a third round pick in the draft.
Fantastic.
He has to be part of the draft class in any kind of real fair evaluation, and that's an awesome draft pick. So that lifts their class. Then if you go just down the line here, I'm just strict about how many guys did you add to your roster. Last year was a volume draft. This year, I believe they're going to add 10 players. Listen to what they're adding out of the draft. Okay, this is out of the draft. I think could potentially make this team. Deshaun Stribling, Will Pauling, Wesley Grimes. They got a shot. Those guys run the 4.3s. Pauling had a really good year.
But like Larry, they'll get an opportunity. But Jake and I did a depth chart breakdown. Like
it's tough to make this wide receiver core. There's
extremely.
No question.
I don't think that DeMarcus Robinson's making this team.
I agree. I talked about that tonight on KMBR. But I'm just saying about new additions that I think have real talent that potentially could make the team.
For sure. I agree on that.
Stribling, Grimes runs 4.35 and he's 6'2", 195. He's got good and he's tough. And Will Pauling is a Notre Dame kid who dropped the ball like a ton at Wisconsin and then only had 2 drops all year at Notre Dame and had a really good year. And he has 42-inch vertical. He runs in the 4.3s. And scored 6 touchdowns. So and he's experienced and smart, and
I'd be worried if I was Jacob Cowing.
Yeah,
here comes another gerund wide receiver.
Junior Bergen. You better think of what Plan B is. And that didn't sound
Listen, the UFL is doing really good.
I'm not being. I shouldn't have said that. I'm a big champion of the.
You and I on Friday are going to see like Saskatoon's finest out there scouting, and I think they're going to have their eyes all over Junior Bergen.
Okay, so there's 3 right there. Okay, the Niners really like Enrique Cruz and Carver Willis, and they see in Carver Willis maybe their future center, and they see, I think, in Enrique Cruz their future at tackle, maybe on the right side, but maybe on the left side, but definitely
I think he can also play guard. I'm a little concerned about Cruz, not to derail the thing, which is what I like to do. He's very athletic. Like, why wasn't he vertical? Why is it that at Syracuse and at Kansas he didn't play every snap? Why did they rotate him out in both of those places? Like, that's a little concerning. And I'm interested to see why that's the case, or maybe even just straight up ask like why that's the case. Because if you're crazy athletic, and some of the tape that he has is really good. I mean, his tape against Missouri is really good. The problem is there's only 50% of the game where he's on the field. And then you go down the line and the rest of the season, you're like, wait a minute, they still are doing the rotation. So like, it's not like there was some second or third round prospect that was just some Jags rotating in at right tackle. So I clearly wasn't watching closely enough to see what it was that made them feel such a way, but that was the issue they had at Syracuse. He goes to Kansas hoping that he can get every snap, and that wasn't happening at Kansas, particularly early in the season. So something to keep an eye on there.
Well, it's a Firster call. I mean, Firster likes these guys. I mean, we watched.
It's 100% a Firster call, and that might be part of the problem.
Well, I don't know. I mean, do we? That's a good question. The 49ers, part of their process, and they say, hey, we like our process.
I bet they do. They keep doing it.
And part of their process is they put a lot on the assistant coaches. Yep. They work their assistant coaches. Kyle painted the picture with Eisen. The assistant coaches set the template. If the assistant coach doesn't target the right guy to do a highlight film of, Kyle Shanahan, you get the feeling, may never, ever see that player. Right. So it's like that first line is got to be your assistant coach pushing a certain player. So then it's like some assistant coaches probably are great personnel evaluators. I'll tell you right now, Ray Rhodes is one of the best ever. And
I've heard that.
And wherever he went, awesome DBs followed.
Yeah.
And then Bob McKittrick was also great at finding guys that, and Firster does a lot of the same things McKittrick did. He's looking for athletic guys who can hit guys in space. They're looking for quickness. They're looking for intellect. The Niners also have a belief internally, and I think it should be stated at this point, that they have a belief that rookie offensive linemen, no matter how good and how pedigreed they are going to go through, really rough patches, and that it's not necessarily the best way to play the most efficient football, by continuing to invest annually in high picks and in rookie offensive linemen, then be forced to play them. They clearly prefer veterans to rookies, even when they draft rookies.
Mhm.
It's more of like a let's plant a seed for 2028, or 2027. That's what Enrique Cruz and Carver Willis look like to me. But I'm just to stay on the point. Stribling, Grimes, Pauling, Carver Willis, Enrique Cruz. I think they're going to make the team most likely. Kalon Black. The Niners guaranteed Khalil Dinkins $275,000. I can tell you right now, I've watched enough of Khalil Dinkins to tell you that he is probably their second best tight end right now to Jake Tonjes. And I'd be shocked if he wasn't better than Rucci, Willis, and Farrell. So, I mean,
the Farrell
really thing.
The Farrell thing is going to be interesting because it's very easy, and I'm the first person to say it. He was garbage. He was dog water last year. He's still got a $10 million contract on some basis. He wasn't just some guy on the street where they're like, hey, you want $10 million to play tight end for the 49ers? Like, he has put up some tape in the past, so it wouldn't, I do think that Dinkins makes the roster and they carry 4, but like, I think that has far more to do with Braden Willis and Rucci and all that.
I see a really strong blocker. And with really long arms. And I also see a guy who is not necessarily a bad receiver as much as an underutilized receiver. So I like that pickup. And they didn't guarantee him almost $300K for nothing. Some scout really pounded the table like Dinkins. They got Kalon Black in the 3rd round. Whatever you want to talk about as far as reach, but he's definitely an NFL back.
Very good player.
And I think he's going to be real solid. And I believe Kyle Shanahan. When Kyle Shanahan, I heard in some interview where he said, hey, we thought he was going to go in the 4th round. But they had to pick 17 picks later, and they should have waited. But whatever. It doesn't matter. I love
if they had taken Grayson Halton, who's going to be next on your list, if they had taken Grayson Halton with pick, what was it, 80, 90, whatever it was, that they took Black with, and then taken Black in the 4th round, no one says peep.
Right. Instead, they went the other way. They went 90 with Black. And also, believe me, the bigger issue, and you and I talk to Niner fans for a living, so we know this, is that any time, there's a lot of people that feel, really confident about what we know about football, which is why we get a lot of people to watch these shows. There are people that really feel like you know what you're talking about. There's people out there that really feel like I know what I'm talking about. And yet anytime you or I, or anybody for that matter, would give the Niners a 3rd round running back in any kind of pre-draft mock, it would be like the pushback on it was astronomical. I could have told you when they made that pick, I was like, the pushback is going to be enormous here.
Yeah, it's like having a floor 13 in a hotel, just verboten.
Trey Sermon and Joe Williams and all Ty Davis Price and all these guys that didn't make it. And it's like, I get it. I totally get it. I understand. But just because those guys were those guys doesn't mean that this guy is that guy. But I hear you. But just back to the premise. Stribling, Grimes, Pauling, that's 3. Willis and Cruz, that's 5. Dinkins, that's 6. Black, that's 7. And that's on offense, you've added potentially 7 players, minimum, I would say 5. Okay.
Sure.
On defense, you add Oso Digizua, Grayson Halton. To me, these are the 2 most exciting players on the team. You've got defensive tackles that give your defense such teeth because they've got speed, and you already had the behemoths, so now you got the speed. Romello Height, is
big fan.
I think going to be very, very special as far as a. I just think that
situational pass rusher.
I'm never worried about the skinny guys because everybody gets bigger and stronger. I'd rather have the skinny guy with crazy movement, which is what he is, as opposed to a bigger guy who doesn't move that well. This guy's got bend and burst, and that's what the great pass rushers have. That's 100%. Got to have bend and burst.
He's going to fulfill the mandate of being the 3rd down pass rusher, filling the Bryce Huff role. And even if he never develops from that, that is an awesome pickup at pick 70.
Yeah.
Like every team needs that. A situational pass rusher who you can stand up as an odd man and as you can put on the field in a NASCAR package, if you will, on 3rd down. Again, he might turn into a guy that you can play on 1st and 2nd downs because he puts on a little bit of weight or he's got more, got more pop than you thought when it comes to setting the edge. But even if he doesn't develop that, it's a good pick.
Yeah, I mean the game is speed, and that's what Jalen Walker and Pierce had in Atlanta last year, and that's what Romello I think has. Okay, so then they got 3 undrafted D linemen in Bryson Eason, James Thompson, and Mikhail Kamara.
Yeah,
and to me they're very intriguing. I mean, all 3 of them are
nice
very
pickups.
intriguing, and so but that's 6 players on your defensive front.
Yeah.
Now I don't know what Jaden Duggar is. I know you don't think much of him as a linebacker, but you know what? That's one of the questions I have for Raheem Morris tomorrow is what is Jaden Duggar? Is Jaden Duggar a green dot wearing, off the ball linebacker, or is Jaden an edge bending outside force because the length and the speed that he does possess off the edge is very intriguing. He's got no pass rush, real moves, plan, or anything. He's played a linebacker position, but I would love to know.
He played D end in 24. For what it's worth,
so
it wasn't good.
No, but I mean, he's got length and speed and athleticism that's pretty special. If the matter is, where does he fit? Yeah. I don't know. I did a deep dive on 3 of their games this year that took me heaven and earth just to go find. And I see what you're talking about as far as this guy has, all kinds of bad plays, but he also has all kinds of plays that you're like, dude, he might be one of the only guys that can make that play. I mean,
when it flashes really high, which is why the YouTube highlight reel looks awesome. But then
looks amazing.
Let's watch 7 plays where none of that happens, and I can't overlook it. But we'll find out. He gets to define it himself. Like, it's not my call. I can't see the future. I'm just guessing.
So you got a linebacker there who's athletic. We'll see, and at worst he's a special teamer. Then you've got Jalen Stroman from Notre Dame, and it's interesting to me because last year Raheem Morris took Xavier Watts from Notre Dame, and if you watched Stroman's film, he had great film this year. He's really not good coming forward, and he's a box safety, but he's got instincts, and he taking a flyer on him. They gave him some guaranteed money too, by the way. It wasn't like it was just like, he's just a guy. That one's intriguing. The Notre Dame guys are always a little bit intriguing. And then Prysock, I wouldn't have gone with him. I would have gone with Keith Abney there or Jalen Kilgore. I'm a big Jalen Kilgore fan. Yeah, but they won that big swing at the number 1 corner with traits, and that guy's big,
but he's got some traits
and 4.45. And if you did look at highlight reels, you would be like, wow, this guy made some plays that were as good as almost any corner that I saw. Yeah. But it's he also had a bunch of penalties. He has a hard time in transitions, mirroring receivers. I think there's a better than 50-50 chance he does not make the roster and gets put through waivers. But I don't know. I mean, maybe he's a safety. So overall, though, if you just back away and take the bird's eye view now, you've got a 24th in draft capital in a down year for the draft, and we just counted probably 15 guys there that are going to have some impact potentially. And I would say of the 15, I bet you they get 10 guys out of this draft that stick and on their roster. And that's what it's all about. You got to keep getting young players in the building, and whether they're rated where I agree. Everybody's got a different rating, and I didn't see some of the players the same way they did. But whatever. I mean, that's the beauty of this thing.
If there was an empirical way to draft, everyone would do that. But Jerry West once said, if you get it right 40% of the time, you're doing great. So,
but I mean, it was so everybody crapped on this draft, and Dieter, in a down year, we're talking about Stribling, Grimes, Pauling, Carver, Willis, Dinkins, Black. That's 7 on offense. Ozua, Halton, Height, Eason, Thompson, Kamara, Duggar, Stroman, Prysock. Maybe 9 guys on defense. That's 16. That's a 16-man rookie draft class. That's voluminous. And I'm not saying that they're all going to make it. They won't. They won't all make it. But guess what? Some of those undrafted guys are pretty good. And if you mix in their undrafted and Odigizua and a pretty good coaching staff, pretty good scheme,
right?
You know, the one thing I will say, the positive of the Niner drafting, they put a lot of credence in their coaches. And I know I've brought it up and made it seem terrible. The upside of that is that you have this wedded thing where it's like there's not going to be like, hey man, he drafted him and I don't want him. It's like, no, bro, you drafted him, you wanted him, and so you got to coach him up. So I like the way the Niners do it to some degree because it does challenge the coaches to get guys that they can coach, and it makes them more wed to the entire process. I like it. I think even though there's downsides, I like it.
Yeah, the downside of that is that you don't evolve and you play it safe a lot of times. And this is, let's just
you take sub-package players and specialists and you start because you want to win as opposed to build. Yeah, you're right.
Correct. You do, and you stay in a comfort zone. And this is the thing with Furster. They outsource all offensive line stuff to Furster. It's subcontracted.
Totally.
And that's fine because he's a very good offensive line coach. But he's also in a position to where he will never, his rating is gospel. Offensive linemen are consistently drafted a round or two earlier than they typically should be, right? Because of just the premium of offensive linemen and the fact that most teams don't know what they're doing, as evidenced every year when you see how much money is thrown to crappy offensive linemen, guys that, you know, the team that's getting rid of them, everyone's like, oh, thank God they're getting rid of them. And then some other team gives them $17 million a year. And it's like, what the hell? But enough about Aaron Banks. Like there's that. and then also like he sticks with the system because that's what he coaches and that's what he believes in. And that's great. But if you are predictable as a coach and predictable in your systems, you end up in a situation like the 49ers now find themselves in, where another team, specifically your arch rival in the division, has created the defense to explicitly counteract everything that it is you do. So where was the evolution up front from the 49ers offensive line? Chris Furster can't be expected to go in and be like, we need to evolve our offensive line. That's not his job to do that. His job is to find players that fit what they do. It's Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch's job and John Lynch's scouts' job to then go and find these players to evolve the system and to say, okay, we need to develop a little bit more punch. We need to stay ahead of this thing. And it just didn't happen because, again, it's all subcontracted out to Furster, and he's not changing for anybody. Why would he change? He's good at this. So that's my issue with doing the assistant coach thing. Also, you then have guys who you drafted the guy, and now you have a confirmation bias issue in some cases.
Yeah, that's true,
where
too.
I took this guy. He might suck, but you know what?
My ass is on the line.
On him. My ass is on the line because now I'm also a scout. I do believe that coaches should have an involvement in the scouting process, Larry. Like, obviously, you know, you want to talk to the chef before you go and buy some groceries because they might not know what to do with it.
But can I push back for 1 second and say, look at a position that they've probably really needed a player at. Now, I really like Dinkins was tight end.
Yes.
Yet their tight end coach left to go be the head coach or the offensive coordinator of the Seattle Seahawks. And so who made the highlight reels there? A guy that just, you know, Cameron, was it Cam? Who's the new?
Jesus! You see, I'm so bad at this. It's
Cameron something. It's Cameron.
Yeah, Clemens.
Cam Clemens. I'm sorry,
Cam Clemens. Apologies to Clay, who I've heard really good things about from outside the building. Like people seem to think that he's going to be really good at this. But again, he has no cachet out, you know, in the position that he currently holds. So when it comes down to Saturday of the draft, and John Lynch just goes, "All right, let's make our pitches. Who wants somebody?" Because rounds don't matter. We could just take whomever we want whenever we want because we've already fulfilled our needs on days 1 and 2. Are they going to listen to Chris Furster, who gets to go to the well twice to take two guys who fit everything that he's ever done before? Are they going to listen to KJ Wright, who says that Jaden Duggar is the second coming of him, which, again, I didn't know that KJ Wright had such a low opinion of himself, but that's just me. Are they going to listen to, you know, go down the line, or are they going to listen to the new guy? Is he going to stand up and have the stones? And I don't want to put this on him because I'm not in that room, but like, it's not hard to imagine a circumstance where the guy who just got the job as tight ends coach from an in-house promotion isn't out here looking to put his neck on the line. Right? That's why you don't have coaches do this. This is why you need a GM to call the shots with involvement from everybody, but someone actually has to call the damn shots. And that I don't feel happens on day 3 of the NFL draft with the 49ers.
If you want to get a feeling for the 49er coach's involvement in the draft process, you just need to watch this. This is a video of our friend.
This is Cruz and Firster, yeah.
This is Cruz and Firster. And Lynch starts it off. And it's good stuff.
Enrique.
Here we go.
John Lynch from the Niners, man. You ready to do this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm so ready.
All right. I love it, man. We're fired up to have you, man. And that trip from Chris Firster was worthwhile, huh?
Yes, sir. It was amazing, man. I can't wait.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, here's our head coach, Kyle Shanahan. All right? Congratulations.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
What's up, Enrique? Congrats, dude.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Who are you with right now?
Yeah, I'm with my whole family right now. Everybody.
Where are you guys at?
We're back home in Chicago right now. I got a whole party, like 100 people, all hyped.
Oh, there you go, dude. Well, it's a lot warmer out here, man.
Oh, yes, sir. I can't wait to go out there and get to work.
Awesome, dude. Well, hey, enjoy that group. Hey, Chris wants to talk to your line coach, man. Here he is.
Yes, sir.
Enrique, what's up, man?
What's up, Coach? How you doing?
You fired up?
Oh, man, I can't wait. I can't wait to go over there.
I said, we're going to come get you, man. I promise you we're going to come get you, okay?
Yes, sir.
Now,
Yes, sir. Let's do this.
I had to give up a couple toes to get you, man, but
Mhm.
you're good, okay?
I promise you won't regret it. I swear.
I know we will, bro. We're going to get it done, okay, man? But listen, man, enjoy your night, and I can't wait to see you out here, okay, man?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it.
See you, brother. Bye-bye.
Enrique.
There you go. I mean, that
Had to give up a couple toes.
I mean, now Chris Firster has 8 toes. Okay, but
Which,
he's got Enrique Cruz.
Who needs all 10? Like it's kind of overkill.
It's mostly a big deal on balance. And what if I get into
if he tips over at any point, you'll know that he wasn't kidding.
If I see Firster go down at any point, I'm going to be like, if you had those toes that you traded for Cruz, maybe you would have stayed up.
This guy wasn't worth the pinky. It's first
Cruz
off,
really worth those toes?
Two points of opinion here. One, they got to stop doing these videos. They're so painful. They're so painful. It's so great. Like Enrique Cruz, this is like an incredible moment for him. And all I could feel is the awkwardness of Kyle and John. Like Kyle's not even listening. He's like, yeah, it's like, hey, Enrique. It's like, yeah, oh, hey, coach, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Oh, that's super cool, man. Sounds like an AI chat bot that you're talking to in customer service. I'll transfer you to my supervisor here.
It could have been edited.
Yeah.
Could have been edited.
Could have tightened that up a little bit. So,
It could blame the editors.
Those cringy phone calls. And then, too, exactly what I'm saying. Like, they just, and again, I don't mean this to be bad. Chris Firster should have.
This guy's calling Kyle Lyle. That's kind of cringy, too.
Well, the cringy Kyle is Lyle now. From this point on, that's what I'm calling him. But, like, Chris Firster should have the strongest voice when it comes to offensive line draft picks and free agents and pros. Like, he's the position coach. He should have the strongest voice. It seems to me, and no one has told me the counter to this, and I've been repeating this point for 3 flipping years now, in particular, strongly the last 2, that it's not just that he has the strongest voice, but that his is the only voice that seems to flip and matter. And that's not just at his position. That's any position coach for a day 3 pick. And again, you can fall into some good picks there. But if you are trying to build the best possible draft, just letting these assistant coaches take guys because, well, it makes everyone feel like they're part of the process like that it just doesn't do it for me. It just doesn't do it for me because I've legitimately asked half a dozen other teams, like, is this normal? And they're like, it's not like super abnormal. And obviously to each their own, but like, it's not super abnormal. You want your coaches involved in this and that, but like,
It's organization to organization. I mean, the Bengals for years. I know my buddy Bill Urbanek was in the Bengals organization. The Bengals were just cheap asses. Paul
they had
Brown,
2 scouts.
Paul Brown just had no scouts at all, and he made his assistant coaches do it all.
Yeah.
There are other teams where the assistant coaches have a nominal impact in the thing, and that they listen heavily to their scouting department. It's just kind of the way whatever way it's set up. I mean, it's all inclusive though. You're dealing, it's everybody, for John to say, well, it's an organizational wide deal. Well, it's an organizational wide deal for everybody. I mean, everybody's talking to their analytics people. Everybody's talking to their medical people.
Brett Veach is not just sitting in a room grinding tape and then lets you know what the answers to the tests are come draft day.
But I mean, it's like there's a reason that Steph Curry shoots every time down. You don't necessarily have to get now it's time for pods to shoot. No, and it's like that's draft rooms. That's where the GM's got to. It can't just be like, well, here, you get this guy, you get that guy. Let's give Bob a guy. It's got to be a little bit more like, hey, we want this guy, and here's why. But I'll say this: for all the hue and cry about what the Niners did, they did do a decent job with the 24th most draft capital at filling their needs and getting a draft class that is a combination of guys that have collegiate production. They didn't draft a bunch of guys that didn't produce. And they also drafted some guys with some physical traits they really liked. And to me, I like that approach of marrying physical traits, great physical traits with great collegiate production. And I think they're in the right lane, because I think they did that largely. So I think that's a good thing. I mean, I think if you're getting the best college football player, that's what the Ravens do. They get the best college football players. Well, my only argument with the Niners would be, I think some of their process could be a little faulty from the standpoint of, what if the assistant coach doesn't target the right players?
Right.
What if the assistant coach doesn't have a good eye for it?
What's the point of having a scouting department?
And what if the assistant coach didn't pick the right videos? What if the assistant coach has such an agenda that he wants a certain guy that he intentionally doesn't tell you about show you the best highlights of other players, because he understands the system. He's working within a system that he's keenly aware of, as opposed to just doing a task. And it's like when you see nothing, that's okay. You see all, sometimes you see nothing. And it's, I don't know. I mean,
I don't quite get how on day 3 it just becomes this catch-all where and again, please, I am open to the answer to this question. I'm legitimately asking the question. I know you don't know it, Larry. People who do know it aren't telling me. But how is it that there's a grade on every damn player, and then the grades just seem to go out the window for vibes come Saturday of the draft?
Well, I mean, that's okay. So that's what you would be wondering about. Here's what I'd be wondering about. You went 1 for 12 if you like Jair Brown. You went 0 for 12 if you don't like Jair Brown on day 1 and day 2 picks over a 4-year span, not in yesteryear, like recently, like almost in your direct past, 3 years ago and the 3 drafts prior, you really struggled. That's kind of a big issue. And Tariq Ahmad was very transparent when he's like, yeah, we, go into deep, deep self-evaluation. Well, come on. I mean, you went 1 for 12 on day 1 and day 2. What are the results of this self-evaluation? I can have self-evaluation all day and all night, but if I don't actually do anything different, what's the purpose of the I've discovered I'm flawed and not very good. Okay, well, is there
I'll tell you.
Does that mean that there are different decision makers? I get the feeling that
Larry,
there's different people making different calls on different players and different rounds.
The scouts legitimately that 23 draft, and there was still some day 3 stuff where it was like, Brian Greasy was the one who banged the table for Brock Purdy, right? Like, so it's not as if
Slowick supposedly.
Yeah, there were some folks that were in on it, and that's, it was the last pick. So I don't have that much of a problem with them saying like, hell, who the hell do we want? It's the last pick. Like, when we're talking round 4, round 5, like, I don't know, maybe I'm too deep in the weeds, too high on my own supply, but like that stuff matters. Like these picks matter, man. And even if you can get a little weird with it and get away with it, like it still matters. So my point is only, I think that the self-evaluation from that draft that they effectively swung and a miss on was that they don't let the scouts do the job anymore. The scouts are basically just there to do the grunt work, and that the assistant coaches are the ones who get to make the calls for most of the draft picks. I think that was the evaluation.
They do sound secondary. I mean, I don't know that that's the case. You're kind of making that assertion. I have no reason to push back on that, but it does appear that way. I don't know if that is the case, but it definitely appears that way, doesn't it? I mean,
they're very happy to tell you that like the analytics department really like this guy,
right,
and they'll throw the scouts out there afterwards. And it's not to say that the scouts don't do a good job, but it doesn't feel to me, and this is a feel because I don't have the booklet of the exact process, and I'm not even sure if this would be written down. But like, once the scouts do all this ground, this legwork, and then the NFL season ends, and they're like, okay, finally we can start thinking about the draft. It's like, that's not how this works.
Oh, I know. I mean, that's way late. I mean, you got to be
can get into it.
I know. I mean, I feel like I got a real handle on who I like for the draft by the time we get to the beginning of the bowl season.
I just made my 500-person list. Like, it's a year-long
I mean, there's a lot
process.
of scouts that feel good in the spring prior about what's coming in the fall. Yeah, so
I think that's important.
I've never been that guy. I always want to see it in the fall.
It's a bit much. I'll give you that. But like, it's nice to go in. So like, it'll be great because we've consistently pushed our stuff out further and further in terms of trying to get out ahead of it. And I will say it's going to be really nice this year, instead of building the list during college football season, to have the list already built. And I have a little mechanism in the spreadsheet. I built out this whole thing where I can just add a player very quickly. But it'll be very nice to where if I see something happen on a Saturday as we're watching our 25 college football games a day, I can just quickly search, put it in, put in that little tidbit. And then that's just one point of data that I can have for when we get into January.
That's the only way to do it. You got to gather over time.
But if you're just letting the assistant coaches aren't breaking down college football film on a Saturday,
you can't. This is not. I mean, Kyle Shanahan knows way more football than me and you, right?
Unquestionable.
But there's a big difference between sequencing plays, calling plays, and looking at personnel. And I'm not saying that he doesn't know what he's looking at. He might really know what he's looking at, but I get the sense by listening to him talk about it that he doesn't enjoy it.
No, he clearly
don't enjoy it. You're not going to be great at it. Why do I think I know so much about college football? Because I enjoy it.
Can't get enough of it.
I watch it, and I watch it with one purpose in mind. I don't care if Indiana wins the national title. I don't care if Miami wins the national. I don't care if it's an SEC school. I don't care.
I do, but
I'm watching only for what those players are going to do at the next level. That's the focus. That's the prism of which I'm watching college football, and I love it and I enjoy it. And to me, I think that's what you got to be. You got to love it. You got to live it. You got to eat it, breathe it, drink it, sleep it, and you got to know it like the back of your hand. Howie
100%.
Roseman knows this draft like the back of his hand. He's got it down.
Yep.
He's never made a tackle ever, and he never could. So but last thought before we take a quick detour and do something else.
Yeah. You
were on with Rob Stats, and you made a point about the Niners have lost some scouts.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't sure. I've never heard that, obviously scouts evolve. Your scouting thing changes every year, but, not as much as you would think. And a lot of times scouts that the Niners had were scouts that they had for
furniture.
Decades. I mean, long time.
Yeah.
So what do you know about the Niners scouts? And what can you share?
They've lost a couple of scouts, to be fair, because it all stems from the fact that you lost a lot of the institutional knowledge, right? When you got so many folks out, with Kwesi leaving and then Adam Peters leaving and Rand Carthen leaving, they're going to take some guys with them. Not a lot, less than you would think, but you take some guys with them. And because they need their right-hand man or ladies. And just the Niners had been rated year after year after year from 2019 to 2023. They got every year they would just lose more and more. And because they were playing so deep into the playoffs, they never, I think, got on top of replacing those folks. And I will say that over the last 2 or so years, as the seasons have been shorter, particularly after the 24 season when they had some time on their hands. I think they've done a good job of getting back in and identifying some folks that they wanted to promote up and, try to refill the ranks a little bit. But the ranks just naturally got taken out by losing quality people who were really more front office than scout. And then you lose some good people in that process. So I've said this multiple times over. It's actually getting better, but they got a long way to go to rebuild the farm system. And I can't imagine that is not in some way related to the fact that their scouts don't seem to be that empowered in the building. And let's also just to piggyback off of your point, Kyle doesn't seem to enjoy the college scouting aspect very much. It feels
he's like, I don't have to watch college film again until next February.
Yeah, I'm sure that is a factual statement that he has made verbatim. And then John is not a personnel guy. I mean, he is now, but that's not his bailiwick. Why was he hired? He's hired because he's a people person and he's a good manager of people. But his eye for scouting, what precedent did he have for his eye for scouting before this? He had never been a scout. He'd never done that. He played in the NFL. He's a Hall of Fame safety. Clearly, he knows something about football. But how's that working for Buster Posey right now? Right? So when you don't have the institutional when you keep losing good people around you, that kind of kept your head above water as you're learning this job on the fly, as you get more and more power if you're John Lynch, from Kyle Shanahan, because Kyle recuses himself or, is tired of being, told he's not good at this because he kind of wasn't, all these things. This evolution is there to where I just don't feel like the 49ers have this very strong foundation, which lends itself to very easily just saying we trust our coaches and then passing that off as virtuous, as opposed to just sort of, well, we don't really have any alternative but to trust our coaches because we don't have a good enough scouting department. Some of the scouts, I'll just call it as I see it, some of the scouts on the high end got Peter Principled hard, which is they got promoted to their point of incompetence. And it's because they're, they lost good people. And they don't, it's not like you put out these big calls for scouts year after year. You kind of just promote from within because, as you alluded to earlier, a lot of scouts and front office people are furniture. They come with the place, whether you want them or not, when you take on a job. And I'm not impressed. And I know that people outside the building are not terribly impressed. And it's not to say that they're nice people or that I think I have never heard anyone say they're not hardworking people, but they don't strike fear into the hearts of their division rivals when it comes to scouting and finding the right players. They don't. And the way that it's been described to me is the way that I just laid out. And it is getting better, but that isn't to say that it's good. And it lends itself to, then again, having assistant coaches, some of which maybe can do the job, most of which probably can't, becoming your main scouts, and you cramming what should be a year's plus worth of work in scouting for the NFL draft into however long you have between the vacation you take at the end of your season, be that in December, January, or if you're lucky, February, as they have done before, and the NFL draft, which is at the end of April. That's not and then you end up in situations where the official 30 visits, well, that's really the job interview. That's huge. And Deshaun Stribling could come in and just be, so charming and so smart. And all of these things are really positives for them, but they get enamored because they don't have the time to put in to deep dive everybody else. So it's like, this guy's really good. Why don't we just take him? Well, there might have been better options. And I do think that Stribling's a good draft pick, but you get enamored. You're not fully playing the market. You're not a very good stockbroker if you're not turning over every leaf and you're not playing the game to its fullest extent. And that's just where I think the Niners are at. And yet it might work out for them.
It's a little convenient. Some of these things. I mean, hey, the Niners staff is really close with the Washington staff, and suddenly you're drafting Carver Willis, of two rounds earlier than you probably should.
They used to be close with Will Muschamp at South Carolina. Then he lied to him one time, and they're like, "We'll never take a South Carolina guy again." And it's like, boy.
Well, you can trace every single one of these players back to somebody. I mean, I'll give you an example. Vadarian Lowe, that's their big free agent signing on the offensive line. he was drafted by Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah in the 5th round with the Vikings.
Yeah.
And so he's a Vidarian Lowe guy and always has been. And now I'm sure Vidarian Lowe, the fact that he's a Niner has a lot to do with the fact that Kwesi is now back in the Niner building. So, I mean, there's you always see those connections. All right, let's do this. Everybody hit like and subscribe. If you hit like, that just helps more people find the stream and the overall algorithm. And if you hit subscribe and hit that notification bell, anytime I go live, anytime Dietz goes live, you don't have to miss any of it. So Prize Picks, the Krug Show is presented by Prize Picks. Let's jump into our Prize Picks lineup for today. Prize Picks is America's #1 sports picks app. And the reason I like it, it is simple. You're just picking more or less on player stats or even game outcomes. You're building your stream or you're building your lineup and you're in. No complicated stuff. Just what you think is going to happen in the game. Real simple. Use code HMA, play $5, get $50 in lineups instantly. The link's in the description. All right, let's get into it. And we will move us around a little bit here. We'll move us around the chessboard, put us in the corner. Nobody puts us in the corner. It's an old movie for those.
Oh, no, I'm familiar with what would that be? Ghost?
No, that was Dirty Dancing.
Dirty Dancing. I was going to say Flash Dance, but that's not it. It's Dirty Dancing.
Nobody puts Baby in the corner.
That's right.
Patrick Swayze. All right. So we're almost there. We just hit one more button, share the screen, bring up our Prize Picks lineup. What would you like? Would you like to go?
I would like to see something. I have no idea what I'm looking at here later.
Yeah. Do you want to go NBA playoffs? You want to go baseball? You want to go futures NBA?
Let's go baseball. Let's
go KBO.
Let's go with Giants on Friday, and let's play a less than on hits or walks or anything.
Let's see. First, we got to go to over here. SF. Oh no, they're off tomorrow, so it doesn't.
Yeah,
it's a day.
Can't do Friday. Okay.
No.
Fair enough. Let's do the National Basketball. So we can do hockey.
We can do hockey.
Let's do hockey.
We can do hockey. The Sharks got the second pick. How'd that happen?
Luck and a little bit of bribery, perhaps.
All right. Go ahead. Can you see anything here? We got Frederick Anderson for Carolina.
I like Stankoven on the more shots, more than 1.5 shots for Stankoven. That feels good.
Well,
good about that.
You know why? They only give you one. It's kind of like a gimme there. See, they only give you more. Is there anything else that you want to pair with Stankoven? And nobody wants that Stankoven, you know.
Yeah.
Stankoven.
Sorry, can we go up? What do we have for Anderson saves?
Anderson goalie saves 21.5, less or more.
I like more on that one.
Okay.
I feel like that game's going to be wide open tomorrow.
Okay, so we got a couple Carolinas. Now we're going to need somebody that's not Carolina.
Okay, let's go more than 16 minutes for Porter Martone. Jesus Christ. He's their hotshot rookie. There you go.
There you go. All right. So we will do this. Okay, and we'll see if we can do this. Let's see. We'll submit our lineup. Oh, wait a second. We got to put in. We're not going to bet 20 on this. We're choking down.
Why not, Lair?
Well,
yeah, I know why not. I know why not.
We don't want to run out of cash too soon.
Of course.
So anyway, we're in the casino. We want to be here all night. We're not trying to get out of there in 10 minutes. Yeah. All right, we submit our lineup. Bingo, bango. Let's take a look. Hello.
I like it. I like it.
Pick power play. 5 wins us 15. Logan Stankoven's got to have.
It's Stankoven.
Stankoven's got to have at least 2 shots on goal.
Feel great about that.
Frederick Anderson. 21.5 goalie saves or more. He's got to have more. He's got to have 22.
That's what I'm saying. You don't think that the Flyers are going to be peppering them tomorroh night?
Well, that's what the Flyers do. And then Porter Martone. Yeah. 16 minutes. That's it.
Well, it's the playoffs. He's a rookie. He just got signed. Do they trust him? I think they do. I think we're about to find out.
All right. Well, thank you to Prize Picks for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. Good luck to us, and thank you to everybody. All right, we're going back to our spots and get rid of this.
I am overwhelmed right now. Thank you.
There we go. Look at that. And like that, we're back. We're back on the mainland. All right. We were going to start with this, but we'll start with it now. We just sometimes you just got to go with the flow on these streams. What is your tomorrow is rookie minicamp.
Mhm.
Technically Friday they're on the field.
Yeah.
What is your biggest 49er concern coming out of the draft for the upcoming year?
Tight end. Tight end. It is.
Really? Okay.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I can talk myself into a world where safety isn't that concerning. I feel good about the defensive line. Linebacker is kind of a wild card, but you got the good top two. You feel good about that for at least this year. Running back is, pretty, you're okay. You got some options there now as opposed to the past. They still really like James. Wide receiver, you might have too many. It doesn't mean that you're going to have a great wide receiver room, but you might have too many. Offensive line, there are bodies, and that left guard situation is going to be really fun to watch, but that's the only one where you're really worried. Like, you got to figure something out there, and I think they got good options at left guard. I think somebody is going to rise to the top and be worthy of that spot. I don't know if they have a tight end that can, if all the teams had to get together and play a spring game, they don't have a tight end that they can trust to do the things that a tight end is supposed to do in this system at all. Like, Jake Ton just can't block. Sorry, great guy, good receiver, can't block. Luke Farrell can't block.
Great,
or
really,
catch.
very good receiver. But yeah, not a blocker.
Well, Ross Dwelly was a good receiver too, and how'd that all end up for him? Like,
Tonjes is a better receiver.
Dwelly has some sick mitts, but okay, we don't need to get into.
He did. University of San Diego, Jesuit school.
Go, what were they? The
Toreros.
Toreros. Thank you. Light blue.
Harbs was their coach. They had Josh Johnson back in the day, and Johnson was a hero for the Toreros.
They didn't have scholarships. Am I remembering that correctly?
One of the most beautiful campuses. Have you ever seen University of San Diego? It is gorgeous. Absolutely fantastic. Gorgeous. One of the most beautiful campuses.
I digress. Luke Farrell sucked last year, and in a world where
wasn't a good blocker.
If justice is real, Luke Farrell would have gotten cut at the end of last year, but justice isn't real. And by the way, George Kittle tore his Achilles tendon in January. And if I hear one more time, it's the good kind of Achilles tear.
I'm going to make a T-shirt about that.
It's the good Achilles tear. It's like, no, it's fine. It's a good type of alcoholism. This is good.
Right.
No. I had a great car accident this morning.
It's a cool totaled. Yeah, it's totaled.
Yeah.
But it's a cool totaled.
The doctor said this was a positive amputation. And gangrene, I mean, it feels like a gang. It's a real party over here. It's kind of
like, oh my God, reminds me of tax estimates. They're good tax estimates.
It's a good tax estimate.
You're paying it ahead of time. Does that make you feel better? Does it feel better because I'm paying the government money ahead of time?
Yeah, we all got fired, but you know what? They were really cool about it.
They were so nice. Are you kidding? Yeah, they got rid of us. They canned us all. They walked us out to the curb, but they were so cool. They were really cool. It hurt them more than it hurt us.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And so, like that. Like, I'm sorry. A true statement about elite players is that in some cases they can do supernatural things. Like, their ability to do supernatural things when the ball's in play sometimes does in fact apply to them doing supernatural things off of the field. They might just be different than the rest of us and some sort of superhuman. That might in fact be the case. I am not banking on that at all. I will be happily surprised, but I am not banking on that at all, that George Kittle 1 is going to be out there in week 1, that George Kittle 2 is going to look anything like George Kittle, because here's the thing about an Achilles tendon, kind of important connection to the ground, and tight end, if you're doing it right, kind of requires some serious ground force in both of the things that you do. Oh, what is it that you do at tight end? Oh, well, I'm a really good run blocker. Oh, that kind of involves you pressing up off the ground. Oh, what else is it you do? Well, I'm a really good route runner. Oh, so how do you separate? Well, I get some good press up off the ground to make a break on my routes. Okay. Seems like you might need an Achilles for that. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Luckily, I have the good broken Achilles. So again, if it happened in October or in September, I'd be having a different conversation. I saw it happen. It happened in the same year we currently exist in. It happened 4 months ago. Like, I cannot believe it. And then they didn't draft anybody, probably because that thing went way off the rails, way faster than anyone, including everyone who was telling me this is going to be a crazy tight end draft. And for good reason, it was a deep class. But like, once we had the blocking tight end from Texas A&M going off the board at 86, we're like, oh boy, we are off the rails now. Anything can go. The 49ers got a 6th-round pick next year for Tanner Kozoil, the SMU guy, or the SMU tight end. Houston. No, who was the SMU tight end that the Baltimore
RJ Maryland, Matthew
Hibner
Yeah.
at 133.
Yeah,
they got a 6th-round pick for Matthew Hibner in the best draft anyone's seen in 25 years, if I'm listening to the right people. That's insane. Good pick. Good job by the Niners. But regardless, like that, the draft goes off the rails. They don't have anyone rated that. That's fine. There's a politics thing on maybe we don't want to let Kittle know that we're doubting him. Well, okay, then you end up having to trade for a tight end with a 2nd round or a 3rd round pick come August, a la Brian Robinson last year, where you're like, oh, we didn't want to bring in anybody in free agency or really heavy early in the draft because we want Christian to know that we still believe in him. And then you get into training camp and Christian's like, yeah, my body's broken. It's like, shit, I guess we have to go get somebody in August and cost be damned. That's probably what's going to happen to tight end. It feels like a real issue here. And you and I can both agree that Khalil Dinkins is a nice UDFA pickup.
Yeah,
but that's a lot. That's a lot like saying it's the good kind of Achilles tear. He's still a UDFA pickup in the deepest tight end class where tight ends were going earlier and more often than ever before. I don't need to buy into the whole this is the year of the tight end in the NFL trend, which it entirely is going to be. And by the way, makes 12-year-old Dieter very, very happy because the tight end has always been the most underrated position in football. And I'm appreciative that it is now getting the shine that it deserves. And George Kittle has a lot to do with that for what it's worth. But my goodness, how can you make no appreciable improvements to your tight end room after Luke Farrell has the season that he had, George Kittle has the injury that he had, you have the draft capital that you have in this draft, where one of the few, if 2 or 3 positions that is any good is tight end, where you have very good tight ends, I would argue, as free agents, some of which are still available, though I'm not sure really any of them fit what the Niners need and want. Tight end is it is a head scratcher for me, Larry. And I don't know how they can run I don't know how they can run 12 personnel. I don't know how they can run a single tight end set. Like, are they just going to be a spread team? Because right now that's kind of what they're asking to be.
I think it's by design. I think they're at where they're at.
Where's
by
the vision?
Design. Okay, let me explain the vision here. First of all, the Kittle thing. I don't want to hear he can be back in week 1. I don't want him back in week 1. This team, right. What the heck is week 1? I mean,
I'm sure that his good Achilles tear is going to feel awesome on that flight to Australia.
Yeah, but also, I mean, this isn't 1995 college football. I mean, what do I want him there week 1? That Super Bowl's in February, and the guy's coming off of an Achilles, and he's, as you said, he's not just vitally important to the run game, pass game, the whole thing. He's also like the face of the franchise. So you know what? You're not. I would hide his helmet until Halloween. I wouldn't even let him have a helmet until Halloween. He's not having a helmet. He can do whatever he wants. He doesn't get a helmet.
Yeah. He'll try to play. By the way, don't.
He's going to try. Oh yeah, don't. And I don't want to see it. I absolutely don't want to see it. Protect George from George. Okay.
No, I'm saying he'll try to play without a helmet. It's illegal, but he'll try.
Really protect George from George.
Yeah.
But George, George is awesome. Okay. But he is coming off an Achilles and he's older. And he probably, even if he didn't have an Achilles, only had 3 or 4 more good years left anyway. And now he probably has less. So, I mean, football happens fast. You're gone in a minute. I thought Bowman and Willis were going to be around forever. I looked up. They were both gone.
Right.
It was amazing. They were indestructible. They're on top of the football world. And like 2 years later, neither in football. And it's just amazing that it ended so fast. But that's just the way it is. So you got Tonjes, great receiver. Love Tonjes as a receiver. But the fact that he stayed healthy last year is a miracle because he's he's very slight. Farrell, I think the Dinkins is a blocker that will be able to allow them to cut Farrell. And I also think that tight end, they may go with 2 tight ends and let Enrique Cruz be their be their blocking tight end to some degree. But
well,
honestly,
that is an interesting thought. Jake and I
Yeah.
were talking about this. That would be a
very
legitimately
athletic.
a good move. And Cruz was the exact guy that I mentioned here. You could also do it with Lau. Buffalo has made their entire offensive identity the sixth offensive lineman.
Well,
And
Miami did it with Brunskill.
Right.
Brunskill played 121 snaps of tight end last year in Miami.
So I don't know if that's something that Kyle has done that, I think, only twice ever. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess it would be 3 times, and it's all been with Trent Williams to make Trent move. And so there were 2 plays in Green Bay, and then there was 1 play in Jacksonville way back in the day where they tried to throw Trent a touchdown pass and it failed. I know this only because I did all the research to see if Trent had ever had a chance to get a touchdown, because he was really sad about it when I asked him, and I put in the work. That is a option. That is something that is worthwhile.
Yeah.
Because they could not run the ball last year without George Kittle. I know that sounds overly simplistic, but kind of that's it.
It's an extra offense. It's no different than big people on the goal line. It's just you're just doing it more often. And Cruz has the kind of athletic profile that he probably could be really good. He's got 36-inch vertical, for crying out loud, at 315 pounds. I mean, that right there screams athlete.
But let's be clear though. You're not actually asking him to be a tight end. You're asking him to be a sixth offensive lineman.
You just block. You block before you're going to block now. You could throw him a pass or 2, whatever.
That'd be awesome.
Trent
is going to be really pissed if that happens.
Because the rest of these guys can't play. Willis, no. Hayden Rucci, no.
Maybe. Probably not.
I don't think so. And Luke Farrell, to me, his thing is blocking, and to me, he didn't look great. I think Dinkins is probably a better blocker. We'll find out. But I think the strategy has nothing to do with any of those guys. I think the Niners, I did a video on this. I think the Niners have had their eye on this post June 1st tight end market all off season. Several tight ends are potential post June 1st cut candidates this year.
Run me through those, because I did some research on this today, and I'm not entirely sure that it is as robust.
TJ Hawkinson, Minnesota. He's got a $21 million cap hit in 2026. The Vikings could save $16 million with a post June 1st cut designation. Hawkinson, obviously an Iowa guy.
If they wanted to cut him, they would have already put on the designation during free agency and stuff. They're not actually going.
A lot of times teams want to see what they got in the draft. Did Minnesota take a tight end in the draft? I don't know. I'd have to go look.
I mean, it's not exactly encouraging. I'll look it up.
Okay. So that's one. Cole Kmet.
Wasn't early.
Cole Kmet, Bears, $11.6 million cap hit. He is considered way too steep for him. He's playing a secondary role behind younger, better players. Chicago can save $8.4 million. I would say Cole Kmet.
Cole Kmet is a very viable trade candidate for what it's worth.
Yeah, I mean we're talking about a 6th-round pick. Dawson Knox, Buffalo Bills. Now he's an interesting player. He's got an $11+ million cost for limited production. Then the Buffalo's got cheaper options, and they drafted one. I would say there's a very good chance he's a June 1st cut, and Dawson Knox would be a very nice get for the Niners. He's more, he can do a little bit of everything. I mean, they need a tight end that you don't know for sure are they going to run or pass, and Dawson Knox would fit that bill. Jonnu Smith
can't block.
No, he's not a blocker. He's more of a receiver and probably redundant with Tonjes. But if you wanted, Jonnu Smith is a very natural receiver who's put up numbers in a number of different offenses around the league. Evan Ingram, Broncos, maybe they've mentioned him as a post June 1st cut as they're trying to revamp their options. So those are the guys that come to mind. And I've heard a couple more that may wind up being cuts, but Hawkinson, Kmet, Dawson Knox, Jonnu, if he was out there, combined with, I think you still got Ertz out there. You got a couple other guys.
Yeah, Ertz, Will
Tonyan,
Dissly, though there
Robert
might be a
Tonyan.
health thing with Will Dissly. The guy that actually you should probably focus on is John Fitzpatrick, who was a blocking tight end for the Packers last year and could be a damn good blocking tight end, if that's something you're looking for.
Where's Cam, the new tight end coach? Where'd he come from?
Clemens?
Yeah,
he was on the staff last year.
But I mean, where was he prior? Maybe there's a tight end that matches up with him. But yeah, Hawkinson, Kmet, I mean, I think would be good options.
New England. He was in New England before that.
I'll say this too. I don't think the 49ers want to go with any more rookie tight ends. He was at where? Vegas?
Vegas. Yeah.
Well, that's the other one too.
Darren
Waller, Michael Mayer, if they wanted to move him.
Michael Mayer would be interesting.
Yeah, Michael Mayer would be interesting. That is a guy that I would trade a pick for.
Yeah.
I think Michael Mayer in the Niner offense would be a phenomenal get. So, I mean, there are options out there. There are some viable options. You could sign Darren Waller right now, today, if you wanted.
Yeah, can't block, though.
Yeah, he's not a blocker. He's a receiver. So that's interesting. Tight end. So you're going tight end. To me, there's a bunch of concerns that are, but I guess my primary concern would be two things. Your pass rush is still, even though you got a bunch of D tackles and you got a bunch of linemen, your most dangerous pass rusher after Nick Bosa is who? Romello?
Yeah.
Amaquinu? Mikhail Kamara? Because it's not Mikhail and it's probably not Keon White, right? It's probably not Cam Sample. It's probably not William Bradley King, who I do like. But I mean, I just think that you're still in a situation where it's like Bosa's got to be really awesome, or Romello's got to be really awesome, or Kamara's got to be some unbelievable surprise, or you don't have a lot of edge rush. And I'd be interested if Leonard Floyd, Joey Bosa, Jadeveon Clowney. I mean, you got an edge rusher. I mean, Steelers want to decide that. Did Aaron Rodgers go back to the Steelers?
Not yet. He has not made a decision yet, according to
I'd take
himself.
Nick Herbig in a pick for Mac Jones and throw Nick Herbig out there.
Well, now, to be fair, it does sound like Aaron Rodgers is coming back. But there's
he is.
I heard that maybe Arizona might be.
I heard that too.
Now.
If I was him, I'd rather be in Arizona.
I would too. And then that
puts
Jacoby Brissett in play for the Steelers. Then they also took Aller, and it's a whole thing. So
right.
I don't think Mac Jones is going, but
yeah.
Who knows? Who knows?
I'd rather keep Mac Jones. So my primary concern on defense is that it's like you're still heavy in the Bosa camp without there being like, I wouldn't mind Leonard Floyd. I mean, I really think I would help.
Yeah, I'll tell you who loves Leonard Floyd. The defensive coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers. Right.
And I think Leonard Floyd in this situation probably fits more than he did when he was here prior. So so that's a name. The other thing that I'm very concerned about is that I like what they did on the offensive line, like down the road, right? With Carver Willis might be the future center, and maybe Enrique Cruz is a future starter at tackle. And Lynch says he really likes Vidarian Lowe, and I've got a scouting buddy who swears to me that Robert Jones is going to be the starter at left guard and that he's going to be pretty good.
I keep telling you that Robert Jones is good. Why listen to me, Larry?
I should. I got to start listening to you. But I seriously, one of my buddies who's been in the league for 15 years is like, Krug, I heard one of your shows and you're talking about Connor Colby and you're talking about Carver Willis and all these guys making predictions out there on Toth. He's like, don't forget on Robert Jones. Robert Jones is scheme versatile. He's also about 330 pounds. He said he's
awesome.
He's a much better athlete than those other guys. And if he's over is it the neck, I believe? If he's over the neck problems he's had, this guy thinks he's going to be like one of the strengths of their offensive line. I mean, we'll see. I mean, that's a great take. I mean, I'm sharing that with you because I thought that seemed surprising to me.
Not to your boy, having watched 24 Miami
how strong
Dolphins
is he?
tape.
How strong is Robert Jones? I mean, the Niners, I walked out of Seattle, Lumen Field going, God, Murphy and Williams are kicking their ass, and they're just so much stronger than Brendel and Pooney and Burford. I mean, they absolutely looked like twice as strong as the Niners interior. Yeah. And the Niners Shanahan did not run on 4th and 1 up the middle because, he thought Brendel was going to blow those guys apart. I mean, he knew they were going to get tossed, and so he's like, we're not doing that. And he had this option play to the sideline, which has got to be the worst play ever called. But
no, we've seen two of the worst plays ever. We saw the when the Cowboys did that one weird one with Zeke
one of the worst
Elliott.
Shanahan plays I've ever
Oh,
seen.
fair. Okay.
Come on. I mean, gosh, Shanahan, you're going to the short side of the field against a team that has Nick Emanwari playing linebacker.
They ran it against the Bears in 2017. I called that play from 5 days away that they would go to that play in that spot. And, no, it wasn't good. It wasn't good.
I mean, I knew they were going to that they were gonna go option in short yardage. Somebody clued me in that they were going option short yardage.
Yeah.
But when they did it, I was like, oh my God. But whatever. The game was already over by then, in my opinion.
Right.
But so the lack of strength of the interior of the offensive line, like if you're going with Jones and Brendel and Pooney, is that the strongest line? Is Colby stronger? Is Lowe? Can Lowe play inside? Is Toth stronger? I mean, can either of these rookies step in?
Toth would be stronger at center, but they're not going to play him at center. I mean, they would, but only if Brendel's injured. They're not going to play him over Brendel. I think Jones. I mean, I think Cruz really packs a punch. It's a big ask. But I think Cruz at left guard with Jones being number 2 on that list. And then
you got Cruz starting at left guard.
I don't have that. I'm saying to answer your question, what would be your
probably Colby.
What would be your physically strongest, or are we talking strongest in terms of like best
I got
option?
You. Well, no, I was talking about physically strongest because
strongest. I think Cruz is the most physically strong.
Yeah,
Cruz is like Pooney 2.0, a little bit longer. Like, and by the way, like we say, like I agree with you. Pooney was not very strong last year. He also played on what was effectively a ruptured PCL for the entire year, so he was having to compensate through just sheer toughness the entire campaign. And I talked to him about it a half dozen times, and it's like just absolute warrior. So now he should be coming back healthy from that. I think that you see a very different Dom Pooney in a good way. But yeah, I don't think that they throw the rookie out there. I think that they're going to try to figure out what Cruz is. He might end up in action. That would be somewhat of a dire situation for the Niners. I think it's Jones at left guard. I think it's Brendel at center, even though that's not the strongest, but he is the guy who can. They just trust him to be the center of this team still for one more year, and then Pooney at right guard, where I think he's going to be really positive. So, yeah. I don't know.
The other thing I was talking about earlier tonight on KMBR is that I see these 7 veterans as being on the chopping block post draft. Tell me what you think of this list.
Sure.
Curtis Rourke.
Yep.
I don't think Curtis Rourke's going to make the team. They're going to
very difficult. It's like they have to get rid of another like overtly helpful player to keep Curtis Rourke, who would never help you in a good circumstance.
Curtis Rourke is either going to be great and they're going to trade Mac Jones, or he's going to be good and then they're going to trade him. Or he's going to be bad and he's just going to get cut. Those are the 3 options there. But I think they're going to go with 2 quarterbacks, and I think he's going to play pretty good because it's year 2 and it's a good system, and he's smart, and he's probably, if he's probably done his homework, he's probably done his reps. This is an ideal situation. You're quarterbacking the 49ers with all these weapons and Shanahan's offense, and you've had a year to learn behind Purdy and Jones. You haven't had to play at all. So I just think Rourke is going to play pretty well and then be traded before he's cut. That would be one. Number 2, Garendo. I just think Sincere McCormick or Patrick Taylor Jr. are more likely if there is a 5th running back. It's going to be CMC, Jordan James, Kalen Black, and Kyle Juszczyk. There's going to be 4 for sure. But if there's a 5th, it comes down to Garendo, Patrick Taylor, or Sincere McCormick. And my guess is it will be one of those other 2 guys.
Right. I'm with you on that one. That one's
Garendo, I think,
it's very difficult to imagine a circumstance in which Isaac Garendo makes the team.
Right. I think unless somebody just falls in love with him and says, we'll give you a 7th-round pick. He's so big, so fast. I think he's a cut candidate. Luke Farrell, for what we talked about before. I think Enrique Cruz can play tight end. I think Khalil Dinkins is a better blocking tight end. He's cheaper. I think they may go for a veteran after June 1st. So I think Farrell could be cut. I think Demarcus Robinson is likely to be cut.
Yeah.
I don't see any scenario where he makes the team.
I see a scenario. It's injuries. Injuries are the scenario.
Yeah, but here's the thing: the last receiver has to play special teams,
right?
And what does he do on special teams? He doesn't do anything on special teams. So,
nada.
So to me, it's Evans, it's Pearsall, it's Kirk, it's Stribling. You have 4 for sure, and then the question is, who gets the last spot or 2? And you have Jordan Watkins, Demarcus Robinson, Jacob Cowing, Will Pauling, and Wesley Grimes. You have other guys, but those are those 5 guys I think are going to be after it. I think they're going to. I'll make the prediction. I think either Pauling or Grimes comes from off the
UDFA list.
Yeah, off the UDFA list and surprise. I think Demarcus Robinson could be traded. I think
I don't disagree with that. I think that they'll end up just sticking with Jordan Watkins.
Jordan Watkins. Yeah, well, I like Jordan Watkins more than Jacob Cowing, but I always get the indication or feeling they like Cowing more than Watkins. We'll see. Austin Pleasance. I think Austin Pleasance has been,
definitely cut.
He was the guy that I thought he played well against the Bears.
He did.
And you've got Trent, you've got McKivitz, now you've got Cruz, and you've got Vidarian Lowe, and then you still have Brandon Parker, who's just kind of fringe.
He's around.
He's a fringe guy, but I think Pleasance is not going to make the team.
He won't, unless there's a bad injury.
Unless there's a Vidarian Lowe and Enrique Cruz. It must be tough being Austin Pleasance. You floated to all these teams, 6 or 7 teams. You come to the Niners, you get in great shape. You finally get an opportunity at the end of the year. You played pretty well in your opportunity. It wasn't like it was Austin Pleasance was the problem out there.
Hardly,
And then here we are. You're not even back at minicamp, and they've already kind of drafted and signed you off the roster.
Well, he can just play his ass off.
Yeah, we'll see. The other guy I had on my list, I have Rourke, Garendo, Luke Farrell, Demarcus Robinson, Austin Pleasance, Darrell Luter.
Yeah, Luter's a possibility.
And then Garrett Wallow.
Yeah, Wallow kind of goes without saying. He's going to have a
hard time making it.
Just unless you want to say Tatum Bethune instead,
Yeah, I kind of think the 16 tackle game probably means Bethune sticks.
I agree.
But you never know because he has some speed deficiencies as well, and they want to get faster. And we'll see. How do you see linebacker? Because it's got Greenlaw, Warner, Nick Martin, who you're not a fan of, Bethune, Gifford, who's not
special
a very
team
good
guy. They re-signed him.
They re-signed him. He's not a good scrimmage player.
No, he is not.
Jaden Duggar, who you're not a fan of. And then they also have Jalen Graham, Garrett Wallow, and Milo Eifler. How many linebackers do you think they keep? Who do they keep?
I think they're going to keep 6. Now, I wouldn't. I would just cut Martin, but I think they're going to keep 6. Greenlaw, Warner, Gifford, Bethune, Martin, and Duggar, and then just consider Gifford a special teams ace because you're going to have a hard time keeping Saran Neal on the roster as it currently stands.
Well, that's another spot. That's another one too. So what about how concerned are you at safety? Jair Brown, Malik Mustafa, Marquise Siegel.
Concerned.
Jalen Stroman, Patrick McMorris, Derek Forrest, Derek Cantine. Those last 4, first 3 guys have a great chance to make it. The last 4 guys are kind of just, I don't want to say camp body types. I like Cantine's talent. And I told you I like Stroman a little bit. Yeah. I don't know. Do you like McMorris from Cal? Do you like Forrest?
No, I would say that Stroman, they keep 4 safeties. Stroman is the 4th safety right now.
Right.
My guess. Hardly encouraging that.
Especially guys get hurt there too.
if not for the fact that safety is treated like such crap around the league for no good reason, and that you can just grab guys off the street in the middle of August and start them in week 1, I'd be super duper worried. But the NFL just treats safeties like such crap that they'll probably get away with it. They'll probably just get Tony Jefferson and he'll come in and actually be fine, and they'll get away with it. That's where I'm at.
They've done it in past years with who was the guy from Jacksonville they signed? Remember Tayshaun Gibson?
Yep. He played
got by
the
with
entire year.
Yeah, they got by with that. They went to the Super Bowl with that.
Yeah. So maybe they're right. I seem to think that safeties are destiny, but I might be the idiot here. It wouldn't be the first time.
What is the end game on Aiyuk and Jennings? What's going to happen? Give me a prediction on Aiyuk and Jennings season.
I think this Aiyuk thing drags out for a very long time because there's absolutely no reason for the only risk that the Niners are taking right now is not PR. They don't care. They shouldn't care about that. It's the only risk that they have is that he shows up to work one day, which they're not too concerned about. They know, I don't even know if he still has a code. So that would be the issue. I don't think it's going to happen. So they are going to drag it out and wait until Washington comes begging and saying, here's a 7th rounder in 28 or something, just something, anybody, anything. And then if push comes to shove, they'll cut him on August 31st or August 30th. So that, he has as little time as possible to acclimatize himself to Northern Virginia. Like, they owe him nothing. I was told explicitly, the half of it, and the half that I know is enough to justify the Niners treating Brandon Aiyuk like a hostage right now, with everything that went down between them, which is so much more convoluted, in not like in any super nefarious way, but just like the lack of professionalism from number 11 throughout this process, if you can call it that, is jarring to the point of legitimate human concern. But that's not the Niners' problem, and they're not doing anything to exacerbate that concern. Brandon Aiyuk doesn't want to be here. He seems to think that he's playing the game in a very good way. He's about to find out he isn't. And it's just a question on if Washington, which seems to be the only team that's interested in him for reasons that are somewhat beyond me at this point, are willing to pony up anything to make it happen. But I don't even think I heard the other day that Washington can't even get in touch with him because he would need to be contacted so that they can renegotiate his contract should there be a trade. So
how about this? ML Football says breaking Kansas City Chiefs are one of the favorites to acquire Brandon Aiyuk. There's a 25% chance that Aiyuk ends up with Kansas City per the Poly Market.
Okay, well, Poly Market's not a thing, so that's horseshit.
You don't believe in that?
Well, if Washington, the team that he at least in the past has stated he overtly wants to go to, can't get in touch with him, if the person that I was talking to on Monday is correct. So, I could be wrong. This is all lunchroom chatter. But if Washington can't even get in contact with him to start negotiating the deal, because all the guaranteed money's off on the Niners, it would be a weirdness on the trade. You basically just have to tear up the deal and renegotiate it into like a 1-year thing or whatever, to come to Washington via trade. They can't even seem to get in touch with them to make that happen. So this idea that this trade is just like the Niners holding out for more, it's more complicated than that, perhaps, based on a conversation that I had earlier this week, which is even if Washington wanted to do it, they couldn't do it because they can't get in contact with this guy. It's a hot mess. The Niners have no incentive to exercise themselves of this problem anytime soon because nothing good can happen for them if they dump him now, whereas something good might happen for them if they hang on to him until August 30th. And again, worst case scenario, they're in the exact same scenario they're in now, and it's not like it is a weird hold-in situation or there's anything pressing because no one has heard from Brandon Aiyuk at all. So And he, I guess he's got a new number or something. So I think that's how that ends. And I think Juwan Jennings' situation ends with him signing a deal that is very reminiscent of the deal he just signed with the 49ers, where it's a little bit on the base, but it's a lot of incentives. Because get this, much like with Mac Jones, people look at Kyle Shanahan's offense and hold it in some reverence, and they look at Juwan Jennings and they go, how the hell am I supposed to make that work? You can't separate. He's a great blocker, but like, are we hiring wide receivers for blockers? I'm not Kyle Shanahan. I actually run a system where our wide receivers don't block, which is most teams in the NFL, or they put in this perfunctory effort. Like, he's kind of a unique player that not a lot of coaches are looking to, fill a quota on. So I think he'll sign with like the Raiders for base salary of $6 or $7 million with, riders that, Schefter and whomever will say like, actually he signed for $19.7 million. It turns out it's a third of that. So that's how I think that ends.
What about, and Jennings, you think winds up where?
I'm just guessing Raiders. What really, he ends up signing somewhere on a deal that
Dolphins, maybe.
Yeah, it's reported is like close to 20 million, but then you actually get the numbers and you're like, actually it's 5. And good luck to him with those incentives. He just didn't play the market
wearing 15, by the way.
Yeah, no, he's never come. Like it actually been legitimately interesting. And Juwan only has himself to blame for this because he made such a stink about his goddamn contract a couple of times. Whereas he should have just played it out and then I guess be in the exact same situation he's in now. So it kind of worked out for him. But the Niners had no interest at all in bringing him back. Like they were overt about this publicly. They were overt about it, to whatever is gleaned by me privately. They were like, oh, no. Like, we're not going to resign. There is no number that we would resign him at. Like, he is going to a different team, which is just interesting, right? Because the Niners are all, especially publicly, they're all about like, oh, we'd never close the door. They were saying that Brandon Aiyuk could come back a couple of weeks ago. So, like, the idea that they're like, oh, no, Juwan Jennings is playing for a different team next year is just interesting. And I'm not really sure what the full genesis of that is.
I don't think this is going to be a trade because I don't think the Commanders are going to trade for anybody. But I'm going to predict this. It's essentially a trade. This McCaffrey becomes a Niner. If Aiyuk becomes a Commander, McCaffrey doesn't make the Commanders. Look at the Commanders depth chart. They don't, teams don't carry 8 wide receivers. He's not one of their top guys, especially if they get Aiyuk. So if the Commanders go for Aiyuk, I don't think it'll be a trade, but I think it will cause Luke McCaffrey to be released. If Luke McCaffrey is released, I definitely think the Niners will give him a shot, and we may have the makings of a Aiyuk McCaffrey trade, non-trade.
The Chronicle is just going to be so all over that.
Oh God, they're going to love it. Could you imagine the people with the questions and the family and
like
especially if they sign Nick Bosa? What if Nick Bosa and Luke McCaffrey, or what if Joey Bosa and Luke McCaffrey both become Niners, and they have the double brother combination,
double Mitt twins?
I mean, it would be amazing. It'd be amazing. It could happen.
Oh my God, the TV channel questions.
I know. Seriously. This guy says, do you think the Niners should take a look at Henry Ruggs? Isn't Henry Ruggs in jail?
He's about to get out.
Then I would take a look at him because he ran 4.25, and why not? He served his time. I mean, yes.
We had this conversation a couple months ago.
He did kill a person, though, and that's not something that I would run towards. But
unless you had 4.25 speed.
I mean, he's got great speed. He's got great talent. He made a huge mistake.
He was in prison for a while. I'm not sure if he still has great speed and great talent. Just throwing that out there.
Well, I mean, he had nothing other to do than to work out. So we'll see. I don't know.
And find Jesus, I guess. I don't know what prison's like. I'm not looking to find out.
You've never been to prison, really?
I've never been to prison. It's a shocking admission.
I cannot believe that. I'm going to look at. Everybody go look up that and just make sure. Let's just make sure.
I've never been to prison.
No correctional facilities at all in your past? Are you sure?
No, I've never been arraigned. I've never been in handcuffs.
Really?
Well, I mean,
They don't feel
Not
good.
by police.
Oh, look at you. Look at you, you sick freak. All right, how about this one? We'll finish with this one, and then we'll get our supers. We'll get out of here. You got a family to attend to.
Do I? They might have just left me.
Seriously, after that last line. Bleacher Report is where I go for all of my Niner news. No, but they
Are you
do
some
have
sort of an affiliate? What's going on there?
Christopher Knox on Bleacher Report had like 8 trades that he really likes.
Okay.
And
have some fun, Christopher Knox.
Yeah, have some fun, knock yourself out. He's got a great one here. And one that I love. I really love. I think in some ways, the NFL is a rush and cover game.
Sure.
So you can never, ever, ever, ever have enough guys who can rush. And you can never, ever, ever, ever have enough guys who can cover.
Of course.
Got to have rush, got to have coverage.
Running the ball and catching the ball too would be awesome too. You can never have enough of those guys.
It's such a passing league now that you got to be able to rush the passer, and you got to be able to cover. You got to be able to cover, and you can't fake coverage either. You got to have real coverage.
Oh yeah.
Christopher Knox says the Niners and Cleveland are the top suitors for Colts slot corner Kenny Moore II, and he says that he's going to. Now Chris Ballard and Moore have already agreed that the Colts are going to trade him, but Ballard was quoted the other day as saying, "We're going to try to trade him, and if we can't trade him, we're going to release him." Who says that? I mean, how does that help your case when you're quoted as the general manager saying, if we can't trade him, we're going to release him? But he makes a big amount of money. Niners do have the most cap room in the sport. The word is from Knox that the Niners and the Browns are both going to try to get Kenny Moore for a 6th round pick. Now, last year with the Colts, Kenny Moore allowed a passer rating of 87.8 when he was targeted. And he did have a pick 6. It was his 4th career pick 6. He's got 21 career interceptions. I kind of feel like the Niners have they got the thumpers. They've got the box safety. They need more coverage guys. Maybe Upton Stout can be that guy if Kenny Moore plays the slot and they move Upton Stout, who's very physical, to a safety position. It gives them a small team for sure on the back end, but it also gives them an exceptional man, coverage group, either in man or zone. They like to play a lot of zone. We'll see what they do under Morris. But you know what? If you're going to spend some money, I mentioned the tight end. Obviously, we saw this week that the BYU guy, Kyle Van Noy, told Kay Adams that he'd like to be a Niner, but that the Niners, he thinks, prefer Joey Bosa. So if you're going to spend some money...
Neither of those guys fit what the Niners need anyway.
Yeah,
like, they're both 5 techs or 3 techs. Like, they're good there. They need a 9.
Yeah, they need a rusher. I mean, who are you referring to when you say
Van Noy?
Van Noy. Yeah. Van Noy's what is Van Noy? He's a special teamer, stacked backer.
It's a wild thing to say, but I think the Niners have enough guys who can set damn edge on strong side defensive end right now between Aquanu and Michael Williams.
He did have 12.5 sacks 2 years ago. That's a lot of sacks.
Huh?
Van Noy in a different scheme had 12.5 sacks in 2024.
I thought you were some Mormon thing with sex. I thought I overheard. My apologies. The handcuffs are on the mind. I'm like, saying,
what do you think of that? I mean, I love the idea of Kenny Moore and one more rusher. If I could put my final touches on this season, like if I could get that tight end but I might be okay with what they got tight end wise. But to me, one more rusher, one more cover guy. If I could get Joey Bosa and Kenny Moore II, I'd say bring it on. Let's go. Let's see what the Niners can do this year. I'd feel really good about the upcoming year.
I don't think that Moore is worth the trouble. Maybe if he gets released, it
makes a lot of money right now.
Yeah, he's got a $13 million cap hit. I guess you'd be taking on 6 of that. He's a 31-year-old slot corner who plays, physical. Like, I don't agree.
Good. He gambles a lot now. He does gamble a lot.
Yeah, and when he was on, he was as good as it got, right? He set the market at slot. But I'm not on board with your idea of moving Upton Stout to safety. I think that Upton Stout's the entirety of his skill set is that he's a crazy SOB who at the line of scrimmage makes stuff happen because he's a crazy SOB. Like if you put him back there,
What about
actually
Kenny
will-
Moore at safety? I mean, I'd probably be more apt to ask Kenny Moore to do it.
He's 5'9", 180 pounds. I mean,
it's a coverage game, though. I mean, I understand what you're saying.
I guess, but his whole thing is that he's actually not that good at coverage anymore. So,
but he'd be covering a different player at safety. He'd be covering, slower
if he-
players, most likely.
they need
I hear what
another
you're saying.
free safety. They got enough guys who can play in the damn box. They need a free safety, someone who can cover the top of the field in either a 2 or a 4-3 formation. And right now it's Marquise Siegel and Stroman, who's a
Box safety.
he's
He's got real limitations. He's got real
You can't
limitations
have-
down the field in coverage, I think.
You cannot
based on
tell
what I
me that
saw.
Jair Brown is going to hang out up there and make it happen. Like Jair Brown's a box safety.
Can
He doesn't-
Luter do it? Can Pricelock do it? Can any of these corners?
Pricelock's an
transition?
interesting. Pricelock, it wouldn't shock me if they tried it after he fails miserably at corner. And they're like, I guess you're a safety now. And actually, you know
How
what?
about Nate Hobbs? Can Nate Hobbs start at free safety?
Is he big enough?
He's a dog. I mean, I'll say that. He's not very big, but he is tough. He's 5'11", 195, but he's pretty
That's what I'm
tough.
saying. Yeah, they got safety. They got a safety issue, but they'll probably just sign. I mean, again, I think it'll just be like Tony Jefferson on August 7th. Come on down. And,
Somehow it will wind up
it'll
working
just
out.
be fine. He'll put up a 74 PFF grade, and everything will be a-okay. I mean, the man retired. Tony Jefferson retired after the 2023 season, and yet he's still going. I don't understand it. I don't understand how people can't prioritize safety. But again, I'm the idiot here. I don't disagree at all on the pass rusher thing. I'm curious to see who that person is because I don't think that they're going to go into camp with the exact roster that they currently have. They'll cross some guys off the list at rookie mini camp and in OTAs, right? Just some undrafted guys that they'll be like, nope, ain't it. We cut them and we'll bring in a veteran, bring in a safety. Wouldn't shock me if it was Jadeveon Clowney is probably more of a true mercenary at this point, so I'm not sure that he would he'd show up for camp. I think he would just be like, when do you need me to pass rush? And then you're like, week 3, all of our guys are injured. And he's like, I'll see you then. I don't practice. I just show up and get the job done to whatever degree.
I like good football players, and I'm not worried about the measurables. But sometimes that leads me to really liking some really good college players who aren't really good enough in the NFL. 2 guys that I'm going to be looking at on the field on Friday. One is Syracuse defensive back Deuce Chestnut, who is a corner, but he's tough, and he could probably play a little safety, and this guy can cover. And he's a Camden, New Jersey kid. He's tough. He's really tough, and he moves well, and he's kind of a physical zone 4-6 corner. But he's most of the stuff in the NFL happens within 10 to 15 yards of the line of scrimmage. You don't need that deep speed a ton. If you don't have it, though, they'll test you.
Yep.
But I really like Chestnut potentially as a safety, as a coverage safety. I loved his film. I mean, go watch him. I don't know how much you did your own draft guides. I'm sure you watched everybody.
I'm familiar.
Yeah, I like Deuce Chestnut. And then the other guy, give me your thoughts on the former Alabama transfer who went to Florida State, who's going to be working out. Roydale Williams, not fast, but kind of a pinball tough guy between the tackles. And he's not, there's worse running backs than Roydale Williams. That's for sure.
Yeah. He didn't strike me as anything terribly
Special.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But
He's not a speed guy. He's more of he's a blocker, dependable between the tackles, churner. You know what I mean? He's a more of a workman-like guy.
they got a few of those, by the way. I mean, what else is a Patrick Taylor but a churner?
Yeah.
So-
He's a special team guy who runs upright and gets
And
smoked.
That's a huge thing. I do think that, last year we definitely did it on the basis of they had a new special teams coordinator. They were clearly prioritizing it, all this stuff. We can't forget that. And with the way that this roster looks like it's going to break down, they're probably only going to get one true special teams ace, whereas last year they got to carry 3. Conley was on the roster for a stretch as just a special teams guy, and then we'll do Saron Neal and Luke Gifford. They made it a priority.
Too much. I mean, they
Sky
never
Moore.
should have given Brant Boyer the junior Bergen pick. Come on, that was ridiculous. Special
Right back
teams
where we
coach
started.
who took a guy who's totally not a pro athlete,
Yeah.
who was his son, teammate of his son's. I mean, come on, man. That one right there, that was.
I think their
granted, it's a
process
late
is
round
great,
pick, but-
Larry. Why do you think that's bad process? That they're
well, as
that's
long
not-
as you're, hey, your process is great if your coaches have a great eye for talent. But if they
guess.
don't, then you're taking. I would have rather have taken an offensive lineman that you like down the road and invest in that offensive line instead of going with the special team return guy who
didn't even make it out of camp.
Yeah, I mean, he's just so. I literally. I mean, come on. These guys are supposed to be really, really sharp. They're supposed to be football gods. I watched this guy return 4 or 5 punts. I watched him in practice for 2 days, and I said, you know what? That's a limited NFL guy. He's just so obvious. It's like, come on, man. He's a good kid, but I mean, just doesn't have that extra juice. You got to have real juice. You can recognize it right away, and he didn't have it.
He was so good at Montana,
which is FCS.
I know. I'm just being an asshole. It was embarrassing then. It's embarrassing now.
It's not good. Not good.
It's their process is dumb, flawed. Let's say flawed. That's a nice way of saying dumb. And we're gonna find out a bunch of guys. The next Friday. Friday we're gonna get some eyes on some guys, and it'll be like, oh no, that ain't it. Like they'll disqualify themselves after one day.
Yeah,
that will happen.
Yeah,
and Junior Bergen was one of those guys. I remember watching Junior Bergen last year at I don't think it was rookie OTAs.
He's a really nice kid too. He's a great kid.
No, yeah, I feel bad, but like, come on now. He's getting paid a lot of money for something he probably shouldn't have had the opportunity to do. So more power to him. But I remember watching Junior Bergen add an OTA. I don't think it was rookie OTAs. And he like dropped 2 punts. And I'm like, isn't that the punt returner? Like,
right.
We say this a lot, Lair, but like, again, what is it you say you do here? If it's not the catching of the punts, sir. So I'm excited. I'm excited. Don't let anything I've said over the last 2 hours convince you that I'm not excited.
We're going to hit our supers, but let's hit our sponsors. One last one. Thank you to Alomar Marina, voted best lunch spot in Sacramento. AlomarMarina.net on the web. 5999 Garden Highway. They're open Wednesday through Sunday. Voted best specialty cocktails up in Sacramento. The shrimp tacos are awesome. Go see my guy Brandon up there. Really good people and a great spot if you want to dine while you float on the Sacramento River.
And don't we all?
And then also thank you to Novato Chevrolet. Go see my guy David Corral, rated top car dealership by Carfax, family owned for 50 years, friendly staff that can meet all of your expectations, huge selection, great prices, excellent customer service, easy financing for everyone. Bay Area's EV headquarters. When I buy a Chevrolet, I buy it from Novato Chevrolet. And as I said, go see David Corral. He will give you a great deal. Tell him you know me. He'll even give you a better deal. Also,
I might take you up on that, Larry.
Seriously, please do. The owner is Gus. He's a personal friend. Tell him I said hi. Sharp Corners, Sports Cards and Collectibles. Thank you to them. 205 Cypress Avenue. The great Anthony Catania is at 831-521-5264. You can connect with him on the gram. Sharp Corners 831 on the gram. Thank you to Sharp Corners, Sports Cards and Collectibles, and they're offering free shipping to anybody who want to order anything if you just mentioned that you're a fan of the Krueger Show.
Hey now.
All right, let's hit our supers. And we got this one. Noam _ill_niner, 49er. Black tested faster, quicker, and more explosive than Price. Why is it he's still a
knockdown 2 weeks later? Oh, because his tape's not as good.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're different. I mean, just watch them run. I mean, the stride of Price is more explosive. He's a kick returner of note. What's special about Black is the heart. He's got unbelievable heart, and he's got unbelievable leg strength. And you're going to love him on short yardage. He's a tough guy. You know, you always sit there and go, why is this guy good and that guy not good? How come this receiver's doing well and that receiver's not doing well? Because even the positions like receiver and running back that you guys think of, I'm not saying you guys, but a lot of people think of.
Careful now.
Yeah, you guys, you people.
Yeah.
When people think,
what do you mean, amateur scouts?
Well, people they fall in love with the wrong things. The real things that matter for running back and for wide receiver, the biggest traits are not 40 times. It's toughness. It's how tough are you? You got to be really tough to run the ball in the NFL, and you got to be really, really tough to make it as an NFL receiver. Every NFL receiver is super, super tough.
They're still playing professional tackle football, which is the closest thing to murder ball we have in our country. Like
Black's tough.
Jake and I call it something very simple. You have to have the crazy. It is an objectively dumb thing to try to play NFL football. You and I get to hang out on the sidelines in a lot of spots. Have you ever been sideline close to the action during an NFL game, Lair?
Yeah. Well, back in the Candlestick days when I covered the team, we had to go in the final 5 minutes of the game down onto the field, and we'd stand in like towards the 10 or 15 yard line on one side, usually the Niner sideline.
Yeah.
And so like when Navarro Bowman caught that interception and ran it back to close the stick, he ran right by me.
Yeah.
And I was standing next to James Harden, by the way, who's also a big Niner fan.
Big Niner guy.
He's a big Niner fan. I didn't realize.
Worst person you know makes a heartbreaking good point. It is legitimately terrifying to hear the noises that happen on an NFL field. It's like your body recoils at what happens out there. It just does not translate at all. It is a visceral experience to be close to an NFL game. You are not a sane human being if you play that sport. So to have any question whatsoever about your toughness is death. And I almost mean that literally. You have to be an insane person who wants to put pain into the hearts of others to play this sport. And it doesn't matter how big or small you are, you have to want to inflict pain. And say what you will about Kalen Black. He's got the crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have toughness. I mean, like Tyreek Hill is incredibly tough, and that's why he was so good in addition to his speed. I think Black's going to be a really good player. We have this one from James Makastad. He said, what made Pooney different as a rookie starter offensive line? Well, it's funny that you asked that because I asked Chris Foerster, about that the exact question, really. But it was in relation to Connor Colby. Mm-hmm. And basically, he volunteered it. He said, hey, look, we knew with Pooney early on that he could play right away because he could pass protect, because it's a passing game. And if you can pass protect, we can put you out there and we can deal with how you run block, and we can improve that as we go. But if you can't pass protect, we can't play you. That's why Connor Colby got out there early last year, because they felt like he could pass protect. And that's why Pooney was thrown out there, because they viewed him as a very good pass protector.
Yep. 100%. That you have to be able to anchor. And they did it with Spencer Burford before Pooney. Like if they see it early, they'll ride with it.
JCNY 49er, love the draft and free agency additions. If we had a top free safety, we would win the bowl.
Tony Jefferson.
Ronnie Lott.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I'm despondent.
The base Muggs 8670 says Stenberg or Reed at 2. Dieter, I say Dieter there because I'm going to go Stenberg from what I've read.
I think you go with Reed.
Really? Well, tell me about these two. These are hockey prospects. The Sharks wound up unbelievably with the second pick in the draft.
5% chance of getting it, and they got it.
How did that happen? I mean, is it
the lottery balls went their way?
By the way, I hate to say that the NHL will lead them, but the NHL's lottery was like infinitely better to watch than the NBA lottery. It was like actually kind of exciting.
It was interesting. They
watching it all, kind of the machinations of it all.
They also don't drag it out, right? It's just in a room. We're going to knock this thing out. Here's a big board. Let's make this happen. Right. Whereas the NBA, it's like, and here's a kid, here's the owner's pet Shih Tzu who's representing the Sacramento Kings. And, it's just like, God damn it. Why? What are they going to do? They have no meaning here. Why are we doing this? Well, we always did this, and it was funny one time. Remember the kid with the bow tie? We got to keep that going again. It's like, I do keep going back to the Bill Burr line of like, who's watching the draft? It's all going to be in the paper tomorrow. But I digress. So my stance is this: Stenberg would not be a bad pick, right? Unbelievable winger. There's a lot of folks out there who legitimately believe that he should go 1. He won't, but he should go 1.
Who's going 1?
Gavin McKenna, Medicine Hat Tigers, Penn State. So he's been the number 1 for so long that it actually turned into a debate on if he's number 1, because it was kind of like the Fernando Mendoza thing, where it's like he's obviously going 1, so there's nothing to talk about. So what if we just made something up with Stenberg? Stenberg did play very well early in the season in the Swedish league. He was on pace to like overtake the Sedin brothers teenage rookie record in the SHL, which is the second best league in the world. He faded from that. And then at the same time, McKenna had a really tough start to the season with Penn State, where he got like $1 million in NIL for hockey, which is unheard of. But then he came on late, and I think Stenberg faded late in the SHL, though I did lose a little bit of connection there towards the end of the season. And then the flip side is there's also Manny Malhotra's kid, who's a center, who's probably the best center he is the best center in this draft. And so do you want to draft a winger, or do you want to go with, the top center, which is Malhotra, and he's maybe closed the gap a little bit between those guys. And then this Chase Reed kid from the Sioux, who it's a very deep defenseman class. But Chase Reed is a guy who I think was like a 7th round OHL pick, got cut from the OHL, had to go play in the NAHL, gets back in, and then just took over the OHL. Absolutely incredible player. Nobody brings it through the zone better. Like, you just don't see defensemen carry it through the neutral zone with such ease. I think he's a really good defensive defenseman. And then he's just an unbelievable angler of passes, heavy shot, just exactly what the Sharks have needed to fill out this prospect pool. They might have the greatest prospect pool that's ever been assembled. They are missing a right-handed shot, true number 1 defenseman. And they have been handed a gift from the hockey gods that they could have anything that they need, save for Gavin McKenna in this draft. And I'm hearing nonstop, oh, you got to take the best available player. You always take the best available player. It's not about accumulating talent. It's about putting together the best hockey team. You have enough wingers. They might not all be as good as Stenberg, but you have enough of them. You don't have anybody like Reed. And no, he won't be ready for a while. But when he is ready, he has a chance to be truly special, whereas Stenberg is going to be a very good wing, probably has a higher floor, but he's still a wing. And you build through the middle in the NHL, and you build from the blue line if you want to win in the playoffs. And I just don't think that you can pass it up. Now, ideal world is you trade to 3, and you let the Canucks at 3 come up, and they can choose between Stenberg or Malhotra there.
What are we getting? What are we Canucking?
I mean, probably another first rounder next year, a bunch of seconds or something, or a nice depth option.
Are you flipping off the audience right now?
I'm kind of flipping off the audience subconsciously because I got into such a fight. Again, if they decide that Stenberg is so much better,
right,
miles better, that they can't go out there and just take him. If they don't do that, if it is in any way close, the tie has to go to the position of need. And I really think it's a lot closer than people give it credit for. I think that the rhetoric, because again, I'm jumping in.
Is Chris Krueger going to make this call?
Yeah, this is entirely Greer's call. And that's the other thing too. Greer is, for better or for worse, obsessed with size. He really does think that size really matters. And
I had an ex-girlfriend who was like that.
Yeah, well, she didn't know how you used it. You got better at using it. And Stenberg can hold his own, don't get me wrong, but he's still like 5'10". Right? He's not a big guy. Whereas Reed is 6'2", 210 pounds. I mean, he is prototypical, and he skates like he's Duncan Keith, but 6'2". And it's like, what? I don't know. I really don't understand. I know I've come into this late. I missed a lot of the rhetoric around this stuff over the last 3 or 4 months, even though I try to stay extremely plugged in on hockey. I watch every Sharks game. I watch more hockey than probably any other sport on a nightly basis.
It all began with Sandis Ozolinsh.
I mean, kind of.
Pat
but like,
Falloon.
I just don't think that there's that much difference between Chase Reed and Stenberg to the point where you don't take the defenseman. And
would you, if you had to put every dollar you had on the Sharks, the Warriors, the Giants, or the Niners to win the next Bay Area championship, who's getting your cash?
I mean, it's obviously the Giants. No, I'm kidding.
Well, they're on the verge this year.
They're gonna kill it in the PCL when they get relegated.
Yeah.
It's if I had to bet every dollar on
every dollar you got, Niners, Giants, Sharks, Warriors, who's going to win the next championship?
I'm torn because I think that the Niners have the best chance to win a championship in the next 3 years, but I'm more convinced that the Sharks will win a championship at some point, right? So
with this current group with Celebrini.
Yeah, by the time Celebrini's 28, he's going to lift a cup. So that's 10 years from now. Like, I'm certain of it.
Do you think the Niners get a ring before 10 years?
So you're saying who wins the next one, right?
Yeah,
like that's the thing.
Who wins the next one?
I would bet Niners because I don't think that the Sharks are close enough to where that certainty overrides the fact that the Niners are in it. They're going to be in it for the next 2 or 3 years at the minimum.
Now would be the right time to buy the Sharks. Like if you could buy the Sharks.
I've offered. Hasso doesn't want to sell to me, mainly because I don't have the money.
Go out to Sweden and chase him down. JC New York says, with all the cap money, sign Bosa and Njoku to 1-year deals.
The cap money, first off, the cap money, a lot of it has to be carried over. They're $15 million over the cap for next year.
They look at their cap situation in 27 and 28, and they will tell you that 60 million of that 70 is going to be rolled over for sure.
Yeah. They're a California team. They love paying taxes there.
We get this one from T-Bone. Dieter is right about the tight end situation. Almost no chance. The O-line is better this year. How are we going to run the ball, not to mention Purdy running for his life? Yeah, I
disagree on the O-line premise. I think the O-line could be better this year. O-line wasn't that bad last year. We just remember the Seattle games with outsized importance because they had outsized importance.
It was a mid-pack, but it was an underpowered group. I'll say this. I really think that Connor Colby is going to be a lot better because for first-year players who have talent and get a little bit of experience, he's got the right mentality. I think Connor Colby's got the juice. I think he's going to be
a good bet. I think his footwork is rough, but if that's fixed, then we got something.
We got this one from Joe Jr. or Joe JC. He says, my office has Lindy's draft guide in the lobby. When I saw Jaden Duggar was the 10th ranked outside linebacker, the incredulous noise I made almost got me fired.
Shout out Josie. JC.
There's not enough Lindy draft guides in the dentist office. I mean, there's usually like Vanity Fair. There's like Time Magazine. There's National Geographic. I don't want to look at National Geographic.
I still do get magazines because I actually enjoy. Like, I enjoy reading. I enjoy reading offline. I get like. I mean, obviously.
What magazine? What magazine exactly could you? What was the last magazine you looked at?
I mean, I read The Economist every week.
Yeah, okay, look at you.
We get New Scientist and The Economist, and then I get GQ, Esquire, Wired, Architectural Digest, and
Ranger Rick.
Actually, my daughter gets like Highlights magazine. Yeah.
My mom used to give me Ranger Rick for like. I don't want Ranger Rick.
I'm a big magazine guy. We used to get Fast Company, but that kind of sucks. I'm a big magazine guy. Like, I like reading. I like print media.
Magazines are cool.
And
the annuals. I like the annuals.
The annuals are, and like I'll get Phil Steele's.
Oh God,
whatever that costs. Of course,
it's just
I won't lie though, Lair. The statute of limitations is up, and it wasn't even in California. I can count on one hand how many things that I've stolen from like a grocery store or something. But there was, I'm like, you know what?
It's a sin.
It's not good. And my Catholic upbringing, I'll pay the price when it's all said and done. But I will say, I was stuck with the in-laws for like a week and a half, and I was just dying. And I'm like, I need something. I need something to go. Like, I just need something. So I'm like, you know what? It was in the middle of summer. I'm like, I'll get a fantasy football like preseason guide.
Nothing says I don't want to talk to you like I'm reading my fantasy.
Like I'm
football
reading
guide.
the fantasy. Like I'm gonna do this research now, but I can't be sitting on a computer the whole time. So like I need a physical book so that I can just be marking stuff and then I can reverse it. And I'm gonna be good at fantasy football this year, and I'm usually okay, but like this year I'm gonna be really good at it. And so I'm at the Fred Meyer in Port Orchard, Washington, and I look, and they're like, it's $19 for the ESPN fantasy football guide. And I legit, at that moment, I just said,
Tax write-off.
not for me.
That's a Krueger show tax write-off right there.
And we went through the self-checkout line, and we just walked out with them. We just walked out with them.
You're like reading it, and it's like it's so rare to see anybody reading in public that's like that right there is enough to distract him.
Well, I'll tell you
he
too.
was reading a magazine. Well, did he bring it in with him, or did he? I don't know, but he was reading it.
I'm a big fan of the magazine. I'll say this: a legitimate life hack, because I don't know if people are actually reading it all, but the scatterbrain nature of news and Twitter and feeds and all this shit today is such to where you can never really get a grasp on anything. It's just always moving. And so I've made myself, and I'm very easily susceptible to just getting wound up by constant movement and changes, and it's all happening, and I can get wound up. And it's one thing for sports, which is inherently frivolous, even though it's our jobs, but it's another thing for like geopolitics and the markets and things like that, and things that I want to stay up on and read on. So I don't read. I used to read 3 newspapers every morning, front to cover, religiously. I don't do that anymore, mainly because 2 of those newspapers suck now. But I will on like a Friday and
by the way, we should explain to the younger part of the audience. A newspaper is a ink-filled paper.
It's like a TikTok, but it's all in words, and then they put a bunch of TikToks on a page.
And basically, it's a 2-use paper. You can read it, and then you can clean the inside of your windows.
That's right.
On your car with it, and it really works well on Windows.
It did do a number. I'm clearly boring you, and that's fine. It was an inherently boring statement. I just say that I read The Economist at the end of every week, and it's a real life hack to just save all of your stuff for the end of the week in a print media form. I
miss the 70s, man. When my dad used to have his barber downtown, Virgil. We used to go downtown, just right there in the barber shop. Playboy magazines, just right there. I mean, just right there. Like,
you want to hear the most pretentious thing of all time, Larry?
This was the 70s. Virgil, and he had this flowing hair. It was beautiful, and he was like worked by Civic Center. Yeah, and my dad would meet me down there. We'd both get our hair cut, and I'd say, "Dad, no, you go first, Dad. I'm
good." And then you're like, "I actually can't come to the chair right now. I'm gonna need about 5 to 10. Then you can cut my hair."
That's right.
I will say that
girls of the Southwest Conference will comes first. I'm sorry.
I will say that legitimately, as a former subscriber to Playboy magazine,
you love the articles.
I'm not kidding. People used to make that joke. The articles in Playboy were incredible.
Oh yeah, no, the whole thing was great. It was like a top tier.
It was like you know what? We need to bring back Playboy in its honest to God form.
Seriously. When half went, it's not the same. But yeah,
I don't even know if they still do Playboy. But like,
can I tell you a guy that I know?
Larry.
Can I tell you a story? I'm not going to tell you who it is. This is an honest story about an honest radio guy that we all know. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Early days.
But enough about Dan Dibley.
Early days of the leader. Okay. This guy locks up 2 computers downloading porn. All right. 2 computers ruined. He's like, Agnew wants to meet with me. I ruined 2 computers. It cost the company $3,000. I'm like, bro, what did you do? He's like, dude, I was downloading stuff from Playboy.com. So now I go, dude, Agnew's such an old school guy. I gotta hear this conversation. So now, and Agnew always left his door open. So the guy goes in there to have this conversation. And so I'm hiding out in the promotions office right around the corner.
Yeah.
The late Isabel Lemon, who sadly we lost this year. She's a beautiful woman,
know that.
wonderful person. Isabel Lemon ran promotions. I'm like, Izzy, let me hang in here. I gotta listen to this. And sure enough, I hear this. What the fuck? You cost us $3,000. What the fuck? What are you doing? All I want you to do is run the goddamn board. You can't just run the board. You got to sit there and download porn. What are you doing? What the heck happened here? You better have a good excuse. And I hear this. Bob, I'm a blank-year-old heterosexual male, and I'm not going to apologize for going on to Playboy.com.
It's unbelievable. And yet I know exactly who you're talking about.
What? You're fired. He goes, you're effing fired. That's it. You're going to Playboy.com. It costs us $3,000. You're effing fired. And he fired the guy on the spot. But the balls of the guy to say, I'm a blankety blank year old heterosexual male, and I'm not going to apologize for going to Playboy.com.
Legend.
It blew my mind. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I said to the dude, I'm like, dude, did you want to get fired? That was, don't you realize you're talking to a guy, talking to like a 58-year-old radio executive, and you're going to tell him that you're downloading porn on work hours, on office computers, and instead of just owning up and apologizing and being like, dude, I'm an effing idiot. I'm sorry. I'm a moron. What can I say? You, instead of falling on your sword, you double down and get your ass fired.
Legend. Bring back Playboy. Print form.
Seriously.
I need those articles.
A couple last ones. We're out of here. Ian Sharp, Kittle older, coming off injury, return date questionable. Thought it was set up for a third-round tight end pick. Yeah, I thought so too.
It got away from him. That draft went crazy. It went crazy hard, really fast.
Tuxadonale.
He just $2.
But he's coming back. He's got this. Tuxadonale says my money for the next championship is on the Earthquakes.
Earthquakes first place, baby. Does US Open Cup count?
We're going Quakes?
Quakes are kind of badass right now.
I'm going Niners. And if I gotta go last, I'll go Warriors.
I'm not gonna lie, Quakes might be a better bet.
Really?
Quakes.
I don't know
I keep
Quakes.
Watching, wondering when the other shoe's gonna drop, and then every time I'm like, I don't know. These guys kind of just kick ass. These guys are awesome. I watch the Quakes. Watch every Quakes game.
I gotta start watching more Quakes.
It's on Apple TV.
Ooh, I like that. I like Apple TV.
That's how you know we're highfalutin gentlemen. We got anything else, or are we just gonna call it?
No, we're gonna call it. We're gonna call it right here. Thanks to
17 good enough for you?
Yeah, seriously. My goodness. Thanks to Dieter. Thanks to all of you guys. Thanks to the sponsors.
Yeah.
And
Rookie Minicamp.
Rookie Minicamp tomorrow.
What happens when a season starts? It's going to be 9 hours.
9 hours shows?
Yeah.
We'll get a sponsor. We'll make sure you're well compensated.
Oh, Jesus.
Peace.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you gon'